Chapter 10:11. What about them? The Masha clone looked at the other babies. Which Emperor Ocean are they from? North Amlaw is from the Ancestral Ocean too. The baby's eyes were very bright. His words are also very organized. Other than North Amlaw and me, the others are all from the Emperor Ocean. Some are from a major ocean, some from a minor ocean. The Masha clone nodded to himself. The Emperor Ocean was split into the major and minor ocean. Work hard. You too can become an undying. The Masha clone caressed the baby's blood-colored horn and smiled. HM. The baby nodded. The Masha clone then turned and left. The baby watched as the Masha clone left, biting his lips, his eyes filled with unwillingness. Leader. The other babies all flew over. How is it, Leader, did the Undying Lord take you in as a disciple? You're still asking. The Undying Lord left. Of course he didn't. The other babies were all chattering away. Back then, when the Golden Horned Beast was still a child, it caused a huge calamity on Earth. These aborigines of the infant stage were all very intelligent. Shut up, the baby roared, after which he looked unwillingly at the back of the Masha clone. Originally, he thought that the Undying had high hopes for him and was willing to take him in as a disciple. He was so passionate about everything, he didn't expect the Undying to not accept him. One must know that in the entire group of natives, all of them were sector lords, resulting in a large number of sector lords, but Undyings were extremely rare. In the army, sector lord soldiers and Undying soldiers had a ratio of 1,000. This was because most of the sector lord civilians didn't enter the army. In truth, the ratio of sector lords to Undyings was even more exaggerated. To be able to receive the training of an Undying, that was a great future. The Undying didn't accept me as a disciple because I was from the Ancestral Ocean, and the Undying Lord was from the Emperor Ocean. The baby leader gritted his teeth, his eyes filled with unwillingness. I was born in the Ancestral Ocean. In terms of birth, I'm even more noble. One day Masi Luo, will definitely become an Undying, and an Undying captain, or even a general. The Masha clansman leisurely strolled around the city. He could clearly hear the conversations of the tens of thousands of natives within 1,000 kilometers. As he listened, he organized the information in his mind. Suddenly hearing the 108 princes conversation, the Masha race's clone listened leisurely. However, he suddenly felt as if he was struck by lightning, and he stood rooted to the ground. 108 princes? 108? 108 Emperor Seas? The Masha clan's clone stood still as a light lit up in his mind. Ancestral Sea, Royal Sea. 108 Royal Seas, 108 princes. What a coincidence, they're both 108. Could it be that every Royal Sea is related to a prince? The Masha clone's eyes grew brighter and brighter. If the Royal Sea is related to the prince, then the Ancestral Sea is related to the Lord of Nine Hells? Right. Teacher once said that the Lord of the Netherworld is invincible in the Netherworld space-time. In that case, the Lord of the Ninth Hell would probably be able to utilize the power of the Ninth Hell Ocean. That Lord of the Ninth Hell Ocean, its power is limitless, probably not any weaker than the five-color Aurora Lake. To be able to utilize the Ninth Hell Ocean, he is indeed invincible in the universe. The more the Masha clone thought, the more excited he got. He even had another thought in his mind. Why do all the princes have an imperial sea? Are they born together? In other words, after every prince is born, there will be an imperial sea? If my third clone can be like the princes born with an imperial sea, 108 princes, according to the information I've gathered, some are universe supremacies, some are immortals, and some are sector lords. Although the princes have high positions, and even have universe supremacies protecting them, making it hard to obtain the prince genes. But if this prince's talent is truly heaven-defying, then for the third clone, even if I have to use the Lord of Nine Hells favor IO teacher, it's worth it. The Masha clone's mind swiftly organized his thoughts. Based on the current information, Lord of Nine Hells, 108 princes, Ancestral Sea, 108 Imperial Seas, the numbers matched perfectly. Along with the fact that the Lord of Nine Hells was invincible in Nine Hell space, It could be said there was a high probability of a connection. Princes, even if they were the weaker lord of 9 hells. And for what the Aboriginals said, the princes are all undying, which also means, to a certain degree, they have the ability to be undying. The Masha clansman listened to the surrounding Aboriginals' discussions and continued to gather information. He walked around the city for 2 days straight. Obviously, the Aboriginal children were taught from a young age. You have to be loyal to the emperor, loyal to the princes. Emperor, the princes, their authority cannot be violated. Fighting for the emperor, fighting for the princes, its glory. The more information he gathered on the princes, the more Luo Feng anticipated. Finally, he decided to meet his teacher, the primal chaos city leader. Virtual universe, highest point of Thunder Island. Within that majestic palace shrouded in endless energy currents, Luo Feng stepped through the door and entered the palace. Teacher. Standing in the palace, Luo Feng faced the endless energy currents and said respectfully, "You've met with trouble in the 9 hells world?" Along with a warm and gentle voice, the golden-robed primal chaos city leader walked over. "Have you already used that favor?" "Not yet," Luo Feng said respectfully. "HM?" The primal chaos city leader was shocked. "You escaped capture? Your disciple has a Masha clansman." Luo Feng said, "I fell into the 9 hells world." The Masha clansman finally rushed over. "How'd he rush over?" The primal chaos city leader asked. "Don't tell me your Masha clansman passed through the 9 hells whirlpool?" "I'm afraid not. He directly passed through the 9 hells world," Luo Feng said. The primal chaos city leader looked suspiciously at Luo Feng, even though he hadn't been there before. But since it was the territory of the 9 hells lord, then that place was definitely very safe. Even a knight's strength wouldn't be able to forcefully enter that place. My disciple's Masha clansman had some special encounters, acquiring the natural ability domain. Luo Feng said directly. Domain? Even though the primal chaos city master was shocked, he also knew that amongst the Masha race, some of the universe paragons he knew had the innate secret technique domain. After all, the Masha race was a reproducing race. Some information that wasn't too confidential had long been known to the outside world. At least primal chaos city leader level existences all know about this domain move. Domain is indeed very powerful. The primal chaos city leader smiled and nodded. Unless one becomes a universe lord, otherwise before, this technique is extremely powerful. HM, Luo Feng nodded. Since you have the Masha clansman's protection, then escaping from the 9 hells world shouldn't be hard. You are, after all, an inheritor of the ancestral god sect, and the 9 hells lord has a deep relationship with the ancestral god sect. He won't personally act to deal with you. Since that's the case, why have you come to find me? The primal chaos city leader asked curiously. Luo Feng took a deep breath. Your disciple has already acquired the world tree's leaf before. Only the nurturing of the 3rd body failed. Failed? The primal chaos city leader sighed softly. He too felt pity for his disciple. However, your disciple has discovered something else. Luo Feng looked at the primal chaos city leader. Speak. Your disciple will first ask teacher, that 9 hells lord, what's his relationship with the 9 hells ocean? Luo Feng stared at his teacher. The primal chaos city leader looked shocked at Luo Feng, following which he said, "This is one of the biggest secrets of the universe. I'll tell you, that 9 hells lord is the 9 hells ocean. The 9 hells ocean is also the 9 hells lord." Luo Feng's body trembled. My God, this was even more exaggerated than he had expected. In the history of the universe, the 9 hells lord has always been a terrifying being. In terms of position and strength, he doesn't lose to me. The primal chaos city leader exclaimed. Actually, in a one-on-one, he's weaker than me. However, why is he able to match up to me? Because, even if I kill him, he'll quickly appear again. Which means he's undying, the primal chaos city leader said. Luo Feng was shocked. Kill the 9 hells lord, and a new one will appear. Kill again, and another one will appear. It's endless. Such an opponent. Just how terrifying is he? The primal chaos city leader exclaimed. hence the Nine Hells Lord. Even the ancestral god sect has to treat him with respect. Many things the beast gods can't do, they let him do. There's no such thing as an eternal secret. Many warriors have been researching on how the universe lord can swiftly regenerate. After all, losing a powerful god body with so much energy, it should take a very long time to revive. The primal Chaos City leader said. Only later did they discover that the moment he dies, then a new one will be born in the Nine Hells Ocean. The Nine Hells Ocean is his endless source of energy. The primal Chaos City leader exclaimed. Back then, we only guessed that the Nine Hells Ocean and the Nine Hells Lord had a special connection. It was only later on that the matter that truly made the Nine Hells Lord's name shake the universe happened. That time, he killed a universe lord. Because of a certain treasure, the demon race's two universe lords joined hands to kill the Nine Hells Lord, chasing him all the way to the Nine Hells Ocean. The primal Chaos City leader said. At that time, the Nine Hells Lord immediately escaped into the Nine Hells Ocean. The moment he entered the Nine Hells Ocean, he immediately vanished. Simultaneously, the entire ocean ignited, burning with endless god energy. The entire ocean ignited? Luo Feng was stunned. Right? The primal Chaos City leader exclaimed. The entire ocean ignited. Clearly, the Lord of Tartarus was enraged and used all his strength to burn the entire ocean. That power was too terrifying, directly suppressing the supreme treasures of the two lords of the universe of the demon race. In an instant, one of the lords of the universe was completely killed, while the other escaped with the help of the supreme treasure. The universe lord that died was called Songyang Lord. The lord of the universe who escaped is called the Sky Wolf Lord. The primal Chaos City leader looked at Luo Feng. During this battle, there were still other warriors following behind, preparing to take advantage of the situation at any time. After this battle, the news spread far and wide. Only a few absolute beings in the universe knew that the Nine Hells Lord was the Nine Hells Ocean. The Nine Hells Ocean is the Nine Hells Lord. As long as the Nine Hells Ocean exists, he will never be destroyed. Even after returning to the Nine Hells Ocean, he will be invincible in the universe. P.S. Second chapter has arrived. Tomato has a third chapter today. Does everyone have a rough idea of what the third clone is? Hehe. Asterisk, to be continued. If you like this work, please come to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 10-12. With that God energy ocean with a diameter of over 10 light years, who in the universe can compete with him in terms of God energy? The primal Chaos City leader exclaimed, It's too ridiculous. That God body is too ridiculous. Luo Feng nodded. It was indeed ridiculous. There were many special life forms in the universe, and many of them were huge too. However, the pinnacle of the special life forms could only reach a few 100 million km in height. And these were mainly plant and rock-type special life forms. And the 9 underworld ocean had a diameter of over 10 light years. A few 100 million km and 10 light years. It could be said that the strongest world tree was like a drop in the ocean. It's just that no one understands why he has such a huge god body. The primal Chaos City leader shook his head. Other than 9 underworlds, no one else in the universe is that ridiculous. Oh, there's one more thing. I've never heard of this 9 underworld lord having any special abilities or techniques. Luo Feng was stunned. No special abilities? The 9 underworld lord is without a doubt a special life form in the universe. The primal Chaos City leader said. However, even if he's destroyed and another god body pops out, he's never used any techniques before. This universe is fair. Giving him such a ridiculous god body, I'm afraid it's given him a lot of restrictions. The primal Chaos City leader said. The primal Chaos City leader suddenly looked at Luo Feng. Why did you ask about the 9 underworld lord? Can you tell me now? Your disciple wants to nurture the third body, to nurture a body similar to a prince. Luo Feng said. Prince? The primal Chaos City leader was stunned. Right, The princes of the 9 underworld. Luo Feng explained. According to what her disciple knows, those princes, too, have an ocean similar to the 9 underworld ocean. Only it's called the Emperor Ocean. However, the 9 underworld lord only has 3 children. The primal chaos city leader said. 3? Luo Feng was shocked. Right, his 3 children. One of them is considered a universe overlord. The other 2 are universe knights. The primal chaos city leader said, however, these 3 children, even if they're killed, they can still revive. Luo Feng immediately laughed. Teacher, according to your disciple's research in the 9 underworld, the 9 underworld lord actually has a total of 108 children, and that 9 underworld too has 108 emperor oceans. It's just that these princes vary in strength. There are 3 universe paragons, 10s of immortals and 10s of sector lords. 108? The primal chaos city master was shocked, following which his eyes lit up. Since there are 108 of them coexisting, then the genetic level of their life shouldn't be too high. Your chances of success are extremely high. Luo Feng nodded. He thought so as well. There were a total of 9 world trees, and the Lord of Tartarus had 108 children. As the saying went, the higher the number, the lower the level of life. After all, the more heaven-defying a life form was, the rarer it was. Many of them are unique in the universe. You can obtain the Emperor Ocean's water. Primal Chaos, the city master said. The 108 Emperor Seas are at the center of the entire 9 Netherworld world. There aren't any aboriginal armies stationed there. Luo Feng said. Wrong. The Primal Chaos city master shook his head. There's no army, but the master of the 9 underworlds will pay attention. Luo Feng was stunned. Right? The Netherworld Sea was the true body of the Lord of the Netherworld, and the Netherworld world was probably a world that was completely under his control. The Lord of the Netherworld was surely aware of everything that was happening. I've only taken some water, it should be fine. Luo Feng was nervous. The water is after all a part of his child's body. However, just some water from an ocean, if you take it, it might be fine, it might be. The Primal Chaos City Master said, if you're discovered by the Lord of the 9 underworlds, just take the water and tell him you're my disciple. A favor. Getting some water, it's nothing. Luo Feng was even more grateful within. The Primal Chaos City Master had indeed helped him a lot. The Primal Chaos City Master, however, looked at Luo Feng, satisfied. If Luo Feng's third body was similar to the Lord of the 9 underworlds, then he would be able to reappear after dying, and the energy would be endless. That would definitely be a great warrior of the human race. A warrior that wasn't afraid of death. Your disciple will work hard to get the water. Luo Feng couldn't take it anymore. Go. The Primal Chaos City Master was filled with anticipation too. 9 Netherworld. The Masha clansman's eyes gleamed with passion, after which he rushed into the sky and headed straight for the center of the 9 Netherworld world. The 9 Netherworld was vast and boundless. The Masha clansman's flight took a total of half a year. Emperor Ocean. The Masha clansman was high in the sky. He could see the distant, endless ocean. It was indeed magnificent. I'll first carefully scan these 108 Emperor Oceans. Even though he had long known about the 108 Emperor Oceans, he wasn't clear on the detailed data. The size of these oceans would affect his future god body. Luo Feng naturally had to be clear on it. This flight scan took another month. From high above, he observed with his naked eye and deduced the data. 108 Emperor Oceans, of which 56 of them had blood-red water, almost like blood. It was completely worthy of being called a blood ocean. These 56 blood oceans were of the same size, with a diameter of about 80 million kilometers. There were 49 Emperor Oceans. The water was turbulent, similar to normal ocean. The size was the same, however its diameter was a shocking 960 million kilometers. These were the Aboriginals' so-called minor Emperor Oceans. There were 3 Emperor Oceans that were similar to normal ocean water. Their sizes were slightly different. Their diameters ranged from 32 billion kilometers to 101 billion kilometers. These are the Aboriginals' so-called Grand Emperor Oceans. So many Aboriginals have come to pay their respects. The Masha clansmen gaze below. The 108 Emperor Oceans, especially around the Minor and Grand Emperor Oceans, had Aboriginals kneeling there, expressing their respect. As for the smallest Blood Ocean, there weren't any Aboriginals worshipping it, paying respects. The Masha clansmen nodded. Many of the Aboriginals were born in the Minor and Grand Emperor Oceans. These Emperor Oceans were like their parents. When they were just born, they would be taken away and sent to various gathering places in the cities. When they grew up and were strong enough, they would usually come here to pay their respects. Even when many Aboriginals reached the end of their lifespans, they would also come here and kneel there, quietly waiting for their time to come. Born here, they would also die here. These Aboriginals probably don't know that the prince is the Emperor Ocean, and the Emperor Ocean is the prince's secret. The Masha clansmen gazed from high above, thinking, however, they were born in the Emperor Ocean, and some in the Ancestral Ocean. Probably from the very core of life, they would naturally respect the prince and emperor. So, the Masha clansman rushed downwards. Very quickly, he landed beside a Blood Ocean. The Minor Emperor Ocean represented the undying level prince. The Grand Emperor Ocean represented the universe's night-level princes, and the Blood Ocean represented the Sector Lord-level princes. Sector Lord princes are weak, and their oceans all look like a blood ocean, and they have no way of giving birth to life. Only after becoming an undying, the Blood Ocean will transform and become like a normal ocean. In truth, it's a true evolution. Only then will life be born. Luo Feng nodded. Around the 108 Emperor Oceans, Major and Minor Emperor Oceans, there were countless Aboriginals kneeling and paying their respects. Beside the Blood Ocean, however, there were no worshippers, because no life was born within the Blood Ocean. What are you doing here? A silhouette flew down from the sky. It was an undying Aboriginal. The Masha clansman glanced at him and turned to look at the vast Blood Ocean ahead. Within the Blood Ocean, the endless blood was flowing. The Masha clansman's voice was filled with respect. I just want to look at this Blood Ocean. I was born in the Grand Emperor Ocean. However, the Grand Emperor Ocean was like this Blood Ocean a long time ago. Be careful. The undying Aboriginal stared at the Masha clansman. There's a strict order that forbids fighting or attacking around the Blood Ocean, taking away the Blood Ocean's water, etc. Of course I understand. The Masha clansman nodded. HM. The undying Aboriginal didn't speak further. He too believed his clansmen wouldn't do such a taboo. The Masha clansman watched as the undying Aboriginal left, thinking, I didn't expect there to be such a taboo. The time I've had to gather information is too short. Right? The Emperor Ocean is a prince. The Blood Ocean is a Sector Lord prince. Sector Lord princes are weak. Their life force is relatively weaker. Some of the stronger Aboriginals can easily injure the Blood Ocean. If they want it, they can even kill Sector Lord princes. In the land and skies, threads of blood mist didn't disperse. Within the Blood Ocean, the endless blood constantly flowed. At the edge of the Blood Ocean, the Masha clansman stood there. I can't care so much. The Masha doppelganger looked around. Because there were no worshippers around the Blood Sea, the closest worshippers were billions of kilometers away. As long as he moved fast enough, no one would notice him. Only one person would know, the Lord of Hades. I'll get some of this Blood Ocean water and leave. It should be fine. The Blood Ocean with a diameter of 80 million kilometers shouldn't care about this bit of water. The Masha clansman was actually nervous because there was a definite possibility that terrifying 9 underworld leader would be enraged. For the third body, for the future opportunities, I'll get my all. The Masha clansman immediately unleashed his domain, appearing on the surface of the Blood Ocean. With a wave of his hand, he controlled a portion of the Blood Ocean water and kept it in his world ring. This world ring was carried by his earth body. It was the strongest and safest world ring Luo Feng had. Of course, with the power of the 9 underworld leader, he could easily destroy it. How is this ocean water? It's basically fresh blood. The moment the Masha clansman touched the blood ocean water, his nose could smell the thick blood stench. So, the Masha clansman immediately returned to his original position. These two domain activations didn't even take 0.1 seconds. The blood ocean water was already in his hands. When I travel through the 9 underworld world, the 9 underworld leader already knows of my domain's power. The Masha clansman looked at the distant aboriginals. It's good that they didn't discover me. If these aboriginals discover that I've touched the taboo, they'll probably surround and attack me. Just as the Masha clansman was about to leave, rumble, a majestic and inconceivable aura descended. The 9 netherworld energy in the surrounding 100 million kilometers instantly formed a vacuum, completely gathering in mid-air in front of Luo Feng, forming the silhouette of a huge face. The surrounding sky and land were filled with boundless rage, and the color of the sky and land changed, becoming blood red. Within the blood-red land and skies, the huge head coldly gazed at the Masha clansman. The 9 underworld leader had descended. Monday, tomato, begging for recommendation votes, begging for monthly votes, begging for all votes, throw whatever you have at me. Recommendation votes, monthly votes, anything is fine. To be continued. If you like this work, you're welcome to come to Chidian. Come and vote. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 10:13. The Masha clansman was shocked. With a sweep of his gaze, he realized the surrounding 100 million kilometers was completely cut off from the outside world. To be able to do such a thing in an instant, probably only the 9 Abyss Emperor could do it. And at this time, the aboriginals who were worshipping by the side of the Emperor Ocean, even if they looked towards Luo Feng, they could only see a normal blood ocean. They couldn't see anything special. The huge head floated in mid-air, gazing down at the Masha clansman. Human, you are challenging my patience. A cold voice resounded throughout the blood-colored land and skies. The Masha clansman was shocked within. This ruler of the netherworld was indeed omniscient. Everything that he had done in the netherworld realm was probably under his observation. He was currently a clone of the Masha clan, but this ruler of the netherworld still said human. It was clear that he believed that his human clone was the real body. Luckily, he didn't kill me the moment he arrived. The Masha clansman thought. Looks like he still cares about his position. And his relationship with the ancestral god sect isn't shallow. Against me, the inheritor, he didn't directly attack. But what do I do now? His position is special and noble. Even the 3 great ancestral god sect ask him for help with some matters. The reason why he didn't immediately attack is because of his status. If I anger him even a little more, he'll probably kill me. Whether it's the ancestral god sect or the human race, they won't be able to do anything. Firstly, I can't anger him anymore. Secondly, I have to protect the blood ocean water. This 9 Abyss Emperor may have guessed my true goal from my earlier actions, like stealing the World Tree branch. However, that might not be the case. I stole the branch from the Tree Island. That's the World Tree's territory. That strongest World Tree is, after all, a Universe Lord. The 9 Abyss Emperor shouldn't be constantly watching that place. No expert likes to be stared at all the time. Even I don't like to be watched, much less that strongest World Tree. Hence, it's very likely that the 9 Abyss Emperor didn't notice when I stole the branch. If he didn't notice, he might not have guessed my true goal this time. The Masha clansman heard the 9 Abyss Emperor's huge head roar. Many thoughts flashed through his mind, and he immediately made preparations. Greetings, Universe Lord. The Masha clone bowed respectfully. At the same time, it switched its body. The human body appeared while the Masha clone returned to the world ring. Since the 9 Underworld Lord had already called him human, Luo Feng naturally revealed his earth body. This was also a form of respect to the 9 Underworld Lord. Since you've already escaped the encirclement, why haven't you left? The giant head looked down. I was hoping for luck. Luo Feng said respectfully. After escaping the encirclement, I thought the Masha clansmen wouldn't be seen through, and the inheritors of the ancestral god sect have always kept the location of the 9 Underworld Whirlpool a secret. That's why I wanted to take a good look at it. I was hoping that I wouldn't be discovered, But now that I've seen the lore of the universe, I immediately understand that everything that happened was under the Lord of the universe's observation. The huge head looked down and observed Luo Feng. Luo Feng was respectful, not panicking at all. My true name is Nine Nether. The giant head suddenly spoke. Nine Underworld Lord. Luo Feng replied respectfully. The giant head said slowly, Human Blade River Emperor, I've heard of some things about you. You rely on your natural ability to clone yourself. Even if you're killed by me, you can revive, hence you're not panicking at all. Is that right? Luo Feng said, Blade River meeting the Nine Underworld Lord. How can I not panic? I'm just pretending to be calm. Ha ha. The giant head laughed. The laughter was like a tidal wave, engulfing the entire blood-red land and land. After a while, the laughter stopped. The huge face gradually became cold, staring coldly at Luo Feng. You should know, the 108 Emperor Oceans, especially the Blood Ocean, are forbidden to touch. That's a taboo. You should have gathered this information in my world. Why did you still dare to take away the Blood Ocean's water? Speak. 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 This speak pierced straight into Luo Feng's soul, resounding within his mind, immediately causing him to fall into an illusion. Break. Luo Feng's willpower surpassed most of the Universe Knights. It was terrifyingly strong. For the Nine Underworld Lord to use just his voice to affect Luo Feng, it wasn't enough. The Nine Underworld Lord gazed at Luo Feng, his cold expression revealing shock. He knew that the Blade River Emperor was a Sector Lord. A Sector Lord was actually able to resist his voice's illusion. One had to know that even some knights could fall for it if they weren't careful. I was very curious about the legendary 108 Emperor Oceans. Hence I came to take a look. I discovered that the other Emperor Ocean's water was very normal. Only this small Blood Ocean. Looking carefully, the Blood Ocean's water was like fresh blood. I could even smell the stench of blood. I was curious, hence I took some water. Luo Feng said respectfully, I was thinking, the Blood Ocean is so big. A little water shouldn't be much. I was hoping for luck. Hoping for luck? The giant head gazed at Luo Feng, its voice getting colder. Humph. You know it's a taboo, yet you still dare to violate it. Then you have to be prepared to bear the consequences. Halfway through the sentence, Luo Feng's heart skipped a beat. Not good. Luo Feng originally didn't want to use the favor the Nine Underworld Lord owed his teacher. He couldn't care less, immediately saying, Nine Underworld Lord, I originally wanted to— Nine Underworld Lord. Luo Feng's and the Nine Underworld Lord's words resounded simultaneously. Luo Feng was about to shout those words earlier. However, after hearing the words, I originally wanted to. Luo Feng immediately swallowed those words back down. The giant head gazed below, laughing coldly. You thought I wanted to kill you? Umph. I originally wanted to kill you. However, considering that you're a newly nurtured warrior of the Ancestral God Sect, I gave up on that thought. Ancestral God Sect? Luo Feng was stunned. The Ancestral God Sect is split into official members and outer members. The giant head gazed at Luo Feng, and the true battles actually rely more on the outer members. The outer members of the Ancestral God Sect are the strongest fighting force. Luo Feng nodded as he heard. There were only so many official members of the Ancestral God Sect, and the outer members were made up of countless absolute geniuses from trillions of races in the universe, like candidate envoys, candidate generals, beast god inheritors that have reached a high level. Many of them had the strength of an overlord in the universe. This was definitely a very terrifying power. I am the outer member of the Ancestral God Sect, the Guardian God Lord. 9 Underworlds. The giant head gazed at Luo Feng. You, Blade River Emperor, are a core member of the outer members of the Ancestral God Sect. Luo Feng blinked. Guardian God Lord? The outer members are split into Protector Envoys, Protector Knights, Protector Leaders, and Protector God Lords. The giant head gazed at Luo Feng. Every God Lord leads a power. You, Blade River Emperor, from today onwards, will be the outer member of the Ancestral God Sect, the protector envoys of our 9 underworlds. As your strength grows, your position will naturally rise. If you accept, I'll spare your life. If not, you know the consequences. Luo Feng blinked. My god. So this 9 underworlds emperor was the guardian god lord. He originally wanted to use the 9 underworlds emperor to owe his teacher a favor. He didn't expect the ancestral god sect to have their eyes on him long ago. Even though you've joined the outer members, we won't let you become enemies with the human race. The giant head said coldly. The outer members have always been very free. Usually there aren't any restrictions. Occasionally our ancestral god sect will have some matters to settle. Only then will we give orders. If you're unwilling, you can even write down the reason. The ancestral god sect won't force you. Join or not. The 9 underworlds emperor looked coldly at Luo Feng. Luo Feng blinked. Greetings, guardian god lord. Luo Feng bowed respectfully. You're smart. The 9 underworlds emperor said, all right, this is the ancestral god badge. A black badge appeared out of thin air. It descended from above and landed before Luo Feng. Luo Feng extended his hand to receive it. It was heavy and cold. There are only 2 words on it. Ancestral god. This word was formed from countless engravings. Luo Feng didn't recognize it. However, with one look he knew it was the word ancestral god. Imprint it with your life imprint. Only you can use the ancestral god badge. The 9 underworlds emperor gazed at Luo Feng. Through this badge, you can contact the ancestral god sect. The ancestral god sect's missions are also issued through the badge. As long as you're within this universe, you can use the badge to communicate. Luo Feng was shocked. Wasn't this the same as the virtual universe? Only through words. The 9 underworlds emperor continued. The ancestral god badge is very special. Make sure you don't lose it. Understood. Luo Feng let out a sigh of relief within. Only through words. However, it was already very powerful. Obviously, this badge wasn't easy to make. If anyone from the ancestral god sect comes looking for you, just take out this badge and they'll understand. The 9 underworlds emperor said. Yes. Luo Feng replied respectfully. Go. The moment the 9 underworlds emperor finished, a formless energy enveloped Luo Feng. So, Luo Feng had already vanished. The huge head, however, made a sound. This Blade River Emperor has entered my sect. I didn't take the initiative to snatch it. It was he who came my 9 underworlds and even offended me. That's why I took him in. If those punks find out, who knows what they'll do, huh? The last time Bug Emperor was snatched by Feng Tian. This time Blade River Emperor has fallen into my hands, haha. Luo Feng surveyed his surroundings. He was already in space. With a glance he could see the distant 9 underworld space. I'm actually outside the 9 underworld space. Luo Feng was shocked within at the 9 underworlds emperor's methods, following which Luo Feng was overjoyed within. However, on the surface he didn't dare show it. Who knew if the 9 underworlds emperor was observing? He immediately ordered his soul slave to activate the God Country transfer. Wong, a misty golden light lit up. Luo Feng brought his soul slave and stepped in, following which he vanished into space. Within the Primal Region Palace. Ha ha ha! Luo Feng appeared in the palace. His face finally revealed a look of glee. Success! He had brought the blood ocean water. P.S. Chapter 1 has arrived. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 10:14. Maybe the 9 Abyss Emperor didn't know his true goal for the Blood Sea water, or maybe he knew but had other intentions. No matter what, he had achieved his goal. Who cares if he really doesn't know or not? My strength is the most important. With the Blood Sea water, I can nurture my third body. Luo Feng was filled with glee, and he thought he would have to rely on the Primal Chaos City leader's favor to get the Blood Sea water. Who would have thought he would only be joining the Outer Circle? Many of the strongest humans have joined the Outer Circle. Luo Feng was all smiles. As my strength grows, with so many chances to receive the Beast God inheritance, I have complete confidence in completing the 5 levels. When that time comes, one I still have to join. Candidate envoys, generals, and those who have received the full 5 levels of the beast god inheritance or higher all had to join the outer circle of the ancestral god sect. And now Luo Feng was invited to join. Like Bug Emperor, Mirror Emperor, Luo Feng, and the others with heavenly talents, like the Undying level, they could go up against a Universe Knight. Once they step into the realm of a Universe Knight, they would have the power of a Universe Tyrant. Just a little bit more, and they would have the strength of a Universe Lord. Such heavenly geniuses, the ancestral god sect would snatch them early. After all, these absolute geniuses, the moment they fail in the beast god path, they might not come to Purple Thorn Island. If they walk the time-space path, they could still succeed. Hence, they were invited to join. This was to prevent future absolute warriors from escaping just like that. I'll definitely succeed on the beast god path, Luo Feng thought. If I want to join in the future, it doesn't matter if I join now. With this, I'll be able to escape, huh? Luo Feng didn't expect that he would end up becoming one of the subordinates of the Nine Abyss Emperor. It was easy to talk to his own people. The Nine Abyss Emperor didn't make things difficult for him either. Haha, this feels good, this feels good. Luo Feng got more excited the more he thought about it. Congratulations, Master. Congratulations, Master. Sky Formation Emperor bowed respectfully within the palace. Luo Feng waved his hand and summoned the world ring that was with Sky Formation Emperor. Simultaneously, he sat crossed-legged, and the Masha clansman brought the blood ocean water into his internal world. Core within the internal world. Oh, the golden horned beast that spanned over 1,000 kilometers raised its head and let out an excited roar. Its voice rumbled like thunder, spreading out. There are a total of 9 world trees, and there are a total of 108 princes under the Lord of Tartarus. If we include the Lord of Tartarus, there are 109 of them. The Masha clan's clone stood in midair and looked in front of it. There was a huge pool of blood floating in the air, and a bloody stench spread out. 109. The Lord of Tartarus is so powerful. I don't believe that every prince's level of life is so ridiculous. Yes, it must be done. The Masha clone stared at the blood sea. Even though his logic told him that the chances of success were extremely high, Luo Feng wasn't sure of the prince's life level. Plus, he had failed once before. Hence, he couldn't help but be nervous. The moment that decides our fate. The Masha clansman and the golden horned beast calmed down, looking at the basin-sized blood. Whoosh! With the help of the world energy in his inner world, the sea of blood soared up into the sky and flew to the distant sky. The entire world was silent. After a long time, the sea of blood flew to the center of the inner world's core. Natural ability, clone nurture. Luo Feng's willpower controlled the entire internal world. With the last activation of the Spawn Doppelganger technique, which could only be used 3 times in a lifetime, the entire inner world rumbled and trembled. Endless world energy frantically surged towards the sea of blood at the core of the entire world. The sea of blood instantly dissipated like mist, leaving behind only the most basic life substance wrapped by the endless world energy. A golden ball appeared high up in the sky. It must be done. Luo Feng sat crossed-legged within the shrine, along with the Masha clansman and golden horned beast watching from within the internal world. They were all nervous, because the last time they failed right at the start. Actually, back then, when Luo Feng chose to swallow metals to evolve his internal world, it allowed his internal world to reach its maximum size. One world diameter was close to 100 million kilometers. Hence, the limit of the clones that Luo Feng's internal world could nurture was extremely high. However, the life level of the world tree from before still exceeded the limits of the internal world. And this time, the nurturing of the clone had already begun. Luo Feng's consciousness was constantly sensing everything. In just a short while, success. All the life forms have been analyzed, and the true nurturing has begun. Luo Feng's consciousness swiftly sensed this. Ha! The Masha clansman laughed loudly. The third clone is destined to be the Blood Ocean 9 Hell. In the future, I'll have an endless source of God energy. Even if I fall, I'll be able to revive. That's what it means to not die. Howl, the golden-horned beast, let out an excited roar. Awesome, awesome. Luo Feng, who was sitting cross-legged in the palace, stood up and laughed loudly. He grabbed Sky Formation Emperor beside him and said, "Sky Formation, drink with me." He even summoned a few of his peak Emperor servants and drank to his heart's content. It was a great feeling. As the nurturing of the clone began, Luo Feng's consciousness sensed that the nurturing of the third clone would take over 600 years. The stronger the internal world, the easier it was to nurture. The stronger the life form, the longer it would take. The Earth-human body took over a year to nurture. The Masha clansman took 3 years and 9 months to nurture. The Blood Ocean 9 hell body, however, took over 600 years. If Luo Feng didn't choose to swallow metals to nurture his internal world, and instead used a normal Golden Horn B sector, Lord Level 9 internal world to nurture, it would probably take over 10,000 years. Taking over 600 years to nurture is within my expectations. After all, it's a special life form. Luo Feng, however, was elated. Before, to search for the third clone, he had risked his lifetime and time again and thought of all sorts of methods. Now that the nurturing had begun, it was much easier. All he had to do was focus and train. Wasn't it just 600 years? Training would pass very quickly. When that time comes, the third clone will be formed. To the ancestral god sect, these 600 years, I'll have to study and comprehend it well. Stepping into the undying level isn't difficult for me. However, stepping into the universe night level is rather difficult. Luo Feng was very clear on this. His own space laws had only truly comprehended the teleportation aspect. Even though he had some comprehension of the space strangulation and space lock, he was still far from fully comprehending them. Once he comprehended the 3 aspects, and when he fused the 3 into 1, that would be the true and complete space laws. Who knew how many absolute geniuses had comprehended all 3, only to not be able to take the final step? Like Truyan Emperor back then, Bug Emperor, Bark Mirror Emperor, etc. All of them were like that. Luo Feng didn't dare get careless. The more I accumulate, the better it will be for my breakthroughs. Also, since I've comprehended the third part, then the star map and the third part of the Bright Moon strategy should be created too. Luo Feng organized his thoughts and realized that there were indeed many things he had to do. After drinking to his heart's content, Luo Feng reported to the Primal Chaos City leader. The leader knew that Luo Feng didn't even owe him a favor, and even began nurturing the third clone. He was overjoyed. He even said, "Haha, those powerful universe lords that have close ties with the ancestral god sect, even though they're the leaders of the outer groups, they're still the outer groups. This 9 underworld has lived for too long. Competing with those old bastards has become his entertainment. Luo Feng, work hard. Since the ancestral god sect values you so much, and that Bug Emperor has acquired 2 treasures, it would be a waste not to take the benefits from the ancestral god sect. When the time comes, don't be merciful." "Yes, teacher," Luo Feng replied. That day, Luo Feng's earth body left the primal region, teleporting through the god country and arriving at the ancestral god sect's Bauhini Island. After returning to Bauhini Island, Luo Feng first met with his teacher Tru Yin Emperor, along with Thousand Rain Emperor, Chimin Emperor, Lishua Emperor, and a few other friends. Very quickly, news spread throughout the island. Blade River Emperor has returned. Blade River Emperor has returned from the 9 underworld space. Did Blade River Emperor's treasures land in the 9 underworld whirlpools core area? He definitely left them there. Even universe supremacies would find it hard to return alive from that place. This Blade River Emperor must have relied on his natural body technique to revive, just like before when he was assassinated. But I can't see his Sector Lord energy. Right, I saw Blade River Emperor too, but I couldn't sense his Sector Lord energy. From what I see, Blade River Emperor's treasures might still be there. How can that be? Even a knight wouldn't be able to survive there, him? From what I see, it's either Blade River Emperor has stepped into Undying, or he has a new treasure. New treasure? The human race is the pinnacle race. Some of the weaker treasures, even though normal races would covet them, the pinnacle races have plenty of them. The news spread like wildfire in the plaza of Glory World, reaching Bark Mirror Emperor's ears. Within the mansion, Bark Mirror Emperor's body had long since recovered. His gaze was even colder. He was born with a cold and cruel personality, and this time he fell into the hands of True Yin. Naturally, he was filled with rage. He didn't reveal his Sector Lord energy. Does he step into Undying? Or a new treasure? Bark Mirror Emperor gritted his teeth. If he steps into Undying, then I'll kill him head-on. I'm a powerful and noble special life form. If there's a treasure, I'll snatch it. Blade River Emperor, True Yin. Just you wait. Despite all the rumors flying around, Luo Feng was still as steady as a mountain. Other than the initial gathering with his teacher and friends, Luo Feng had been in his own mansion for a long period of training. P.S. This chapter has ended. The new one is about to begin. Tomorrow, Tomato will stop writing for a day to prepare for the next one. The day after tomorrow, he'll start updating the 19th chapter. From the next chapter onwards, only the main character has the right to be called an absolute warrior of the universe. Please look forward to it. The 19th chapter, Undying. To celebrate this moment, monthly votes, recommendation votes, please give them to Tomato. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidian. Come to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 10-15. Stepping into the Undying level, Luo Feng would enter a new era. He would be considered to have stepped into the ranks of the universe's absolute beings. The following plot would involve even more things. It would be even grander. Tomato's detailed plan and layout, etc. He had been working on it until it was almost 4 p.m. and he still hadn't finished. He didn't even finish the script. Hence, he could only take one more day off to allow Tomato to prepare more. Everyone, please forgive me. Asterisk, to be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidian. Come and vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 10-16. Ever since Luo Feng returned from the 9 underworld space to train, 500 years had passed. Ancestral God Sect, treasure, trove grounds. The mountain range was endless. One couldn't see the end of it. The mountain peaks were either majestic or precipitous. Between the peaks were lakes of various sizes. It's been a long time since a new treasure trove has appeared. It's been said that the treasure trove grounds have countless treasures hidden within. A foreign race was entrenched there, his snake tail casually sweeping about, scraping the mountain rocks clean. Treasures frequently appear? That'll be bad. No matter how many treasures you have, they'll all be used up over time. If the treasures don't appear, it'll be boring. When the treasures appear, that scene is really shocking. The snake-tail foreign race's triangular eyes were filled with anticipation. I can't wait for that scene to appear for me. You've been to the treasure trove tens of thousands of times. Give up? Suddenly, it's the Blade River Emperor. The Blade River Emperor is here. The Blade River Emperor disappeared soon after returning from the 9 underworld space back then. He hasn't appeared for so many years. The moment he does, he's actually at the treasure trove grounds. Where's he? Where's the Blade River Emperor? Many of the inheritors looked around from afar. Some even soared into the sky to observe from afar. Soon, they locked onto a certain direction. A silver-armored human youth was flying through the air, heading straight for the tallest mountain peak in the treasure trove grounds. Luo Feng looked around, laughing to himself. Looks like I've become one of the main inheritors of the ancestral god sect. Regarding this, Luo Feng could only laugh within. These 500 years, his improvement in training wasn't small, especially feeling the third body growing and maturing. Naturally, he was in a good mood. I estimate that in another 100 years or so, the third body will be formed. When that happens, I'll probably break through to Undying. Before that, I'll have to come to the treasure trove grounds to take a look. Luo Feng's gaze swept across the countless treasures in the vast mountain range. Right now, I'm a sector lord. There might be some absolute beings that specially prepared treasures for the sector lord inheritors. If I break through to Undying, I won't be able to obtain any of the treasures prepared for Sector Lords. So, Luo Feng's first target was the highest mountain peak. This was because the 108 highest mountains in the entire treasure trove contained the 108 most precious treasures. Only 42 of them had been obtained by inheritors in history, and the rest were still waiting for the fated ones. Look, Blade River King went to the highest peak. It seems like the Blade River King came to the treasure ground to obtain the treasures. I was still thinking that although the Blade River King came here once, he left after fighting with Venerable Beishan and didn't take a good look at the treasure ground. I thought he didn't have any thoughts about the treasure ground, but he finally came. The 108 highest peaks of the treasure trove contain the 108 most precious treasures. This time, he's going to the highest peak. This super genius, whose name shakes the universe, is truly ambitious. In the distance, amongst the foreign races, there were a few that were jealous and even hated Luo Feng. Oomph. A cold snort came from a hunchbacked figure standing at the top of one of the mountain peaks. He had a golden mane and golden eyes, but his back was arched, as if he was a wild beast ready to pounce at any moment. Barking Mirror Emperor, do you think the Blade River King will be able to obtain the treasures? He's heading straight for the highest peak. Beside, a few other inheritors said. Barking Mirror Emperor looked coldly and sneered. The treasure trove at the highest peak has existed since the ancestral god sect opened this treasure ground. It said that one of the ancestral gods personally placed it there. After so many years, there have been Sector Lord level special life forms, but none have been able to open the treasure trove. As for the Blade River King, he's still far from being able to meet the requirements to open the treasure trove. The inheritors at the side nodded in agreement. Barking Mirror Emperor, a voice resounded. A majestic silhouette flew over. Barking Mirror Emperor looked over. It was the Beishan Knight. Beishan Knight's one eye glanced at the distant Luo Feng and said, "This Blade River King has disappeared for so many years. Suddenly coming to this treasure trove, looks like his desire to obtain the treasures is very strong. From what I see, he probably wasted his efforts." Scram! Barking Mirror Emperor suddenly shouted coldly. The Beishan Knight's one eye stared wide-eyed, his face filled with shock. You have some conflict with the Blade River King. I have a grudge with him. You think you can get close to me? You one eye. You even bullied the undying inheritors of my North Border Alliance, Scram. I can't be bothered with you. Barking Mirror Emperor bared his fangs, his golden eyes staring coldly at the Beishan Knight. The Beishan Knight was so angry his body was trembling. He was a great knight. He had long heard that Barking Mirror Emperor was vicious, greedy, and hard to get close to. Hence he had never intentionally interacted with him. And this Barking Mirror Emperor obviously had a grudge with the Blade River King. He too had some conflict with him from what he saw. They both had a common goal. They should be able to get close. Being friends with Barking Mirror Emperor was something he was extremely willing to do. Barking Mirror Emperor's current strength wasn't any weaker than his, and the moment he became a knight, he just needed to train a little more, and he would quickly become a universe overlord level being. Good. The Beishan Knight was so angry he was trembling. His face was twitching. Barking Mirror Emperor, you sure are vicious. The Beishan Knight gritted his teeth, after which he roared angrily and flew away. Barking Mirror Emperor looked at this scene and laughed. What kind of thing is that? The few inheritors beside exchanged glances, shocked within. Like Barking Mirror Emperor and Chasing Bug Emperor, they didn't even give the other knights any face, because they had the power. Of course, there were differences between the universe knights, like the overlords of the universe beings. They could easily trample on Barking Mirror Emperor and the others. Barking Mirror Emperor and Chasing Bug Emperor, even if they became universe knights, they would still have to train hard before they could reach the level of an overlord. However, without a doubt, these life forms that were thousands of times stronger than normal life forms, they were all seedlings for the overlord level. Hence, the North Border Alliance, Ancestral God Sect, and the other absolute powers of the universe all placed great importance on these life forms, even giving them treasures. Luo Feng didn't notice the battle between Barking Mirror Emperor and the Beishan Knight. He landed on the highest peak. The highest peak also represents the strongest treasure. It's said that the ancestor god personally placed the treasure there. Luo Feng stood on the peak and walked one round. However, he didn't cause any commotion. According to the normal rules, as long as one was on a certain peak, if the conditions were met, then the treasure would automatically open. Obviously, Luo Feng didn't cause any changes in the highest peak, meaning he failed. This scene immediately caused many inheritors to discuss, especially Barking Mirror Emperor. He revealed a rare smile. Blade River Emperor. There's over a 90% chance it's Luo Feng. And Luo Feng and True Yin, their disciple and teacher. Barking Mirror Emperor snorted coldly as he stared at Luo Feng. Even though he chased after Luo Feng back then, he didn't hate him at first. However, being killed by True Yin was simply too tragic. Ever since he was born, he had never been so close to death. Barking Mirror Emperor was furious. He hated True Yin to the bone. He swore that the moment he became a Universe Knight, he would be the first to kill True Yin. And Blade River Emperor was very likely True Yin's disciple. Plus True Yin killing him was probably revenge for Blade River Emperor. Hence Barking Mirror Emperor was angry at Blade River Emperor. True Yin, Blade River. Barking Mirror Emperor muttered these two names. Barking Mirror Emperor. That Blade River Emperor failed. He went to the second highest peak. Along the way, he went to the other peaks and lakes. There's no reaction at all. He's reached the second highest peak. Haha, no reaction at all. The inheritors at the side said. Barking Mirror Emperor's smile grew wider. How can the treasure be so easily opened? These 108 highest treasures are what the ancestral god sect uses to attract the inheritors from the beginning of the universe till now. Only 42 have been opened. On average, they only open once in a very long time. The conditions are extremely harsh. Peak after peak, lake after lake. Luo Feng continuously flew and landed, flying and landing. Failure, failure, failure. A series of failures from the first peak to the 60th peak, and even go to many other places along the way. It took him a total of 10 hours. However, to an undying, 10 hours was just the time to drink a glass of wine. Opening the treasure trove is really hard. Luo Feng was relaxed. This time he came with the thought that it would be a waste not to take it. No matter what, he had to give it a try. There seems to be quite a few aliens that hate me. Luo Feng flew toward a distant canyon, scanning the area. During these 10 hours, he was often surrounded by spectators. A majority of the inheritors were just watching the show. Some were either jealous or resentful. These resentments weren't actually directed at Luo Feng, but more towards the human race. As the human race was the pinnacle race, there were many massacres in the universe. The aliens kill. They didn't show any mercy when killing the aliens. With generations of hatred accumulating, there were indeed many aliens that hated the humans. Which pinnacle race didn't kill their way out? Being merciful and merciful, there's no way to become an elite race. To become an elite race, one has to steal resources, and to steal resources, one has to kill. This was something True Yin once said to Luo Feng while drinking. Luo Feng strolled around the treasure trove. Along the way, there were aliens flying beside him and cursing at the human race. Luo Feng only laughed coldly. Those that weren't of the same race had different intentions. They were all fighting for their own race. There was no right or wrong. Humans wanted to live on Earth and control more resources. Hence, they had to kill large amounts of other animals, even enslaving them. If the humans weren't vicious enough, the other animals would kill large amounts of humans and capture a small number of humans to enslave. The logic was the same. This is the universe. The strong eat the weak. Luo Feng's heart was extremely firm. Why would he care about all this? Just as he was strolling, Luo Feng finally reached the 106th highest peak. He didn't have much hope. However, the moment Luo Feng landed on the 106m tall mountain peak, rumble, the entire mountain began to tremble, attracting countless inheritors to look over, following which the entire treasure trove erupted. P.S. New article, start, to be continued. If you like this work, please come Chidian. Come to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 10:17. Luo Feng had just landed on the mountain peak. Before he even moved, he felt the entire mountain tremble. He couldn't help but be stunned. The treasure trove has been opened? The entire mountain was trembling, and the trembling was getting stronger and stronger. Treasure trove. The treasure trove is about to open. It's about to open. In the distance, the inheritors who were either chatting or searching for treasures all rose into the air and looked over. In an instant, in all directions, there were silhouettes of the various races of the universe. Embark Mirror Emperor too flew up. How can this be? Bark Mirror Emperor's golden eyes stared wide. With one look, he saw the distant 7 inheritors standing on a mountain peak, and Luo Feng immediately saying, "It must be one of the other 6. It must be." He hated that Blade River Emperor from the bottom of his heart. He wasn't willing to accept the fact that he had acquired the treasure trove. Also, this was the 106th highest mountain peak. Even though it was 106th, it was still one of the legendary 108 great treasure troves. Any one of them had value comparable to a treasure, even at the bottom. It should still be comparable to a normal treasure. And he, Bark Mirror Emperor, only had one normal treasure. Naturally, he didn't believe the Blade River Emperor could acquire it. Things didn't go according to Bark Mirror Emperor's wishes. Treasure trove? It's a treasure trove. The mountain peak is shaking. The treasure trove is definitely about to open. On the mountain peak, the other inheritors were all excited because they too were on the mountain peak. It must be me. I touched that tree earlier. No, it's me. I must have suddenly touched the treasure trove's condition. These inheritors were all excited and nervous. Even though they all saw Blade River Emperor's arrival that caused the trembling, they were still on the mountain peak. Who knows? Maybe it was one of them. As long as there was hope, they wouldn't give up. After all, this was one of the 108 treasures. Hua hua hua, the 5-colored light lake above the treasure trove. Right above the mountain peak, suddenly thousands of lights began to revolve, like a whirlpool. Xiao, 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 xiao. Suddenly, thousands of aurora lights fell from the sky. Each of them was tens of thousands of kilometers long and had 5 different colors. They were like countless meteors falling from the sky. In just a moment, the thousands of aurora lights had completely enveloped the mountain, like a curtain of beads surrounding the mountain. It was magnificent. This magnificent scene made countless inheritors' eyes red with excitement. The pressure contained within those thousands of aurora lights was inconceivable. One had to know that just a few aurora lights could slaughter a universe paragon. How powerful were these thousands of aurora lights? After all, it was the protector treasure of the number 1 force in the universe, the strongest treasure of the universe. This title was no joke. It's mine. The treasure is mine. The entire mountain peak was enveloped by thousands of auroras. The inheritors on the peak and the waist of the mountain were all within the range of the auroras. But immediately after, waves of energy swept over them and teleported them away. No, don't. It's mine. The outsider heirs weren't willing to accept this. Who triggered the treasure? It's definitely the Blade River King. I saw him descend on that mountain peak. One figure after another, some large, some small, some covered in scales, some transparent like liquid. All sorts of outsider life forms were kicked out of the lake. Who? Who triggered the treasure? They were all kicked out. How many of us are out? It's the Blade River King. Only the Blade River King didn't come out. Although the group of inheritors were unwilling to accept this, they quickly checked and confirmed that the Blade River King didn't come out. And those watching from afar were actually looking for the Blade River King amongst the inheritors that were kicked out. The moment they found him, they immediately knew that the Blade River King was the one who triggered the treasure. Humph. Bark Mirror King gritted his teeth, revealing his fangs as he watched this scene unfold in anger and unwillingness. However, what could he do? The few inheritors beside him glanced at each other, not daring to speak. They all knew that Bark Mirror Emperor was definitely furious at this time. Idiot, a stupid, crazy beast without any intelligence. Venerable Beishan looked at Bark Mirror Monarch from afar and cursed in his heart. Ferocious beasts were the universe's most powerful and intelligent life forms. Times, everything that happened outside, Luo Feng couldn't see, but he could guess. I'm the one who obtained the treasure. Luo Feng felt the mountain beneath him tremble. He couldn't help but smile. As for the treasure location, the scene of the treasure being triggered, he had long heard of it. A few absolute beings of the ancestral god sect hid the treasure in the treasure location, after which they confirmed the conditions to activate it. These conditions were controlled by the five-color lake. The five-colored Aurora Lake was constantly monitoring the area it covered. It was recording the inheritor's every move. Just like when Luo Feng was assassinated and revived, he obviously had the energy of a sector lord. The five-colored light lake would immediately record the sector lords, geniuses, etc. All these information would be collected the moment it matched a treasure. When Luo Feng reached the location of the treasure, the five-color light lake would automatically control the treasure to appear. Only to keep it a secret, it would lock down the area. Other than the person who placed the treasure, the person who activated the treasure, and the five-color lake, no one would know what the treasure was. Just like how the seven Blade Emperors obtained the treasure back then, the outside world had always been guessing. As long as the seven Blade Emperors didn't reveal it, naturally no one would know. The mountain shook. Simultaneously, a huge rock rose from the peak. Luo Feng stared carefully. The huge rock was about 300 m tall. However, it slowly rose and flew up, completely floating above the mountain peak. Just what treasure is it? Luo Feng stared at the gigantic hole in the mountain peak after the huge rock flew up. The pitch-black hole was completely silent. After a while, a black ring slowly flew up and turned towards Luo Feng, floating in front of Luo Feng. Luo Feng took a deep breath and hoping for a treasure suitable for him. He immediately extended his hand and received the ring. This was an ownerless ring. Luo Feng easily imprinted his spirit imprint within. Not a bad world ring. It's comparable to the best world ring I bought. Wearing it, even if I receive an attack from a universe lord, as long as I don't purposely attack it, the world ring won't be damaged. Luo Feng nodded within. The ring itself was very sturdy. However, it was easy to break through, directly destroying the world within from the inside. As for the outside, it depended on the materials used. Just what is it? Luo Feng's spirit energy seeped in and began to investigate. Within the world ring's world, there was only one item. An ancient ship, 120 kilometers long, 30,000 kilometers wide. Its entire body glowed with silver light. Its structure was like a ship in the ocean, not a universe ship. Luo Feng sent a thread of spirit energy into the ship. A thread of spirit imprint entered, and immediately large amounts of information surged into his mind, causing him to reveal a look of glee and joy. Out! Luo Feng extended his hand. So, a silver light flew out and landed in his palm. A date seed-sized ancient ship. It's actually a flying palace-type treasure. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed, unable to hide his excitement as he looked at the ship. It's just an absolute treasure, yet it's judged to be comparable to a treasure. No wonder this is a flying palace-type treasure. As long as I take it out, there'll definitely be warriors willing to exchange for it. Luo Feng already knew the information within the ship. This ancient ship was originally known as the Silver Dragon Phantom Ship. It was a top-grade treasure, and its function was somewhat similar to the Heavenly Wolf Hull. As long as one was within the Silver Dragon Phantom Ship, unless the enemy broke through the hull of the ship, their material attacks would be weakened to the point that they were practically useless. Even soul attacks would be greatly weakened. Back when Luo Feng was being chased by Bark Mirror Emperor, if he had this ship and hid within it, Bark Mirror Emperor wouldn't be able to hurt him at all. Luo Feng would be able to rely on this ship to swiftly escape, leaving Bark Mirror Emperor far behind. Just like the Sky Wolf Lord back in the 9 Underworld space, facing the terrifying attack of the 9 Underworld Emperor that burned the entire 9 Underworld Ocean, he relied on the Sky Wolf Palace to barely escape. The armor and other defensive armors are all close to the body. The enemy's material attacks, or soul attacks, can only weaken a little. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. This silver dragon phantom ship is huge within it. It's like I'm in a huge castle. This is even better than the automaton race's most expensive god base. Its defense was strong, and this silver dragon phantom ship, in terms of agility and direction, it might be weak, but in a straight line of escape, it was extremely fast. Haha, this is an absolute treasure. The Universe Knights definitely won't be able to destroy it. Even the Universe Lords would have to spend a lot of energy to destroy an absolute treasure. Luo Feng was very happy within the silver dragon phantom ship, along with his pagoda pearl protecting his soul, the moment he stepped into the undying level. Luo Feng couldn't help but smile. Of course, treasures required sufficient strength to operate. If one was weak, the speed of the ship wouldn't be fast enough. It would probably be taken away by the absolute warriors instead. Once I step into the undying level, I'll be able to directly use this silver dragon phantom ship. Luo Feng nodded to himself. When my strength grows stronger in the future, when I have the ability to operate the Star Pagoda, my trump card will be the Star Pagoda. This silver dragon phantom ship will only be a transportation tool on the surface. Silver dragon phantom ship. It sounds awkward, I'll call it. Milky Way. Luo Feng looked at the silver lights on the ship. Almost like he was looking at the countless stars in the Milky Way, he immediately came up with this name. Even though treasures had names, most of them were awkward. Like the Purple Bell, its original name was the Demon Note Fire God Bell. Luo Feng just called it the Purple Bell. This silver dragon phantom ship too, Luo Feng just called it Milky Way. Ancient ship Milky Way, before I truly activate the Star Pagoda, you'll have to accompany me. Luo Feng looked at the ancient ship in his palm, thinking within. P.S. 2 chapters completed. I owe 6 this week, 3 tomorrow, and 5 the day after. To be continued. If you like this work, please come Chidian. Come to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1018. Luo Feng flipped his hand, and the ancient ship Milky Way fused into his skin. My universe ships were all obtained from some of the titled emperors. I felt that they were still lacking. My original plan was to break through to Undying level and get a better universe ship. However, from the looks of it, this treasure comparable ancient ship Milky Way is much better than any ship the humans or automaton race have built. Luo Feng was extremely excited. Xiao, a swiftly shrinking aurora suddenly flew over, scaring Luo Feng. Back then, the Universe Knight that tried to assassinate him was easily killed by these aurora lights. Luo Feng wanted to dodge. However, the space around him seemed to have frozen, making it hard for him to move. The aurora, however, was as fast as lightning. One and gently touched Luo Feng's head. Luo Feng stood stunned in place. Rumble. The boulder that was originally floating in the air suddenly fell into the hole and returned to its original appearance of the mountain peak. And the thousands of aurora lights that surrounded the entire mountain peak, Xiao, 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 all of them soared into the sky and quickly flew back to the vast 5-colored aurora lake. Look, that Blade River Emperor seems to be in a daze. It's definitely because he's too surprised. That's one of the 108 treasures, and he got it just like that. These 108 treasures are one less every time they're taken away. Who knows when a new treasure will be placed in there? What do you guys think that Blade River Emperor got? Is it some valuable materials? Defense treasure? Attack treasure? A treasure to recover the divine body? In the distance, the countless inheritors who were watching Luo Feng acquire the treasure were all curious and guessing. However, none of them were able to see it. Luo Feng scanned the distant surroundings, and with the teleportation, he immediately teleported to the distant valley where the treasure was. Within the valley, it was extremely silent. Luo Feng was alone here, muttering, "Wine Lord." When the aurora touched his head earlier, it transmitted some information. It was actually a message left behind by the person who placed the treasure for the future inheritors of the treasure. A dissolute voice was saying something. I don't have a clan. Since the birth of the universe, I have been alone. My true best friend is Paragon Minghe. However, that Minghe had an extraordinary encounter. I don't know who to give the treasures that I don't use to, since the ancestral god cult suddenly created such a treasure trove. I'll leave this silver dragon phantom ship to the later generations. World Overlord, able to win over 1,000 battles, and you have at least reached the peak of the 3rd level of the beast god inheritance. Even I feel that you are a rare genius. Remember, the one who gave you the treasure is the wine master. Ha. It was a simple message. Luo Feng immediately understood. The one who left the treasure trove was a universe lord. Only his title was a little weird. Wine Lord? Wine as a title? Luo Feng was puzzled, immediately connecting his consciousness to the virtual universe. Right now, his authority was indeed very high. He could investigate many of the universe's secrets. Virtual universe. At his desk, Luo Feng looked at his laptop screen, swiftly searching for the Wine Lord. Whoosh! An entry appeared on the screen. That was the only entry. Luo Feng opened it. Wine Lord, natural-born beast god, wind and time beast god. A unique life form in the universe. Born as a beast god, he named himself Chungfeng. He loved to drink and was obsessed with it. The absolute warriors of the universe gave him the title of wine. He was one of the early 8 great beast gods of the ancestral god cult. He has already fallen. Luo Feng looked at this simple message and revealed a look of shock. This Wine Lord was actually a natural-born beast god. Beast gods were also split into natural and acquired beast gods. Those that relied on training and finally comprehended the entire path of the beast god and inherited the position of a beast god. Those were normal beast gods. And when the universe was born, it birthed some natural-born universe lords. Their bodies were formed from the fusion of the origin laws and the beast gods. He's fallen? Luo Feng's ears seemed to resound with that unrestrained voice. Remember, the one who gave you the treasure is the Wine Lord. Such an absolute warrior has fallen. Luo Feng exclaimed within. A natural-born beast god who loved wine. Luo Feng could even close his eyes and imagine a natural-born beast god standing on an ancient ship and carrying a huge wine flask. Love wine. Luo Feng sighed softly. You left me a treasure. If I have the chance, I'll definitely repay it. A natural-born beast god who loved wine. He was a wine lord and named himself Chungfeng. Even though Luo Feng had never seen him before, he had a good impression of the already fallen wine lord. It was a pity that when the universe was born, this natural-born beast god was born. He was probably even older than the primal Chaos City leader and the creator of the huge axe. One of the earliest 8 great beast gods of the ancestral god cult. Too much time had passed, and he had fallen long ago. Even as strong as the universe lord, there's still a chance of him falling. Luo Feng thought. Just like the strongest in the universe, if they were to pay the price to kill a universe lord, most of the universe lords wouldn't even be able to escape. Unless it's like the 9 underworld leader or the primal Chaos City leader who had heaven-defying methods. The primal Chaos City leader was already invincible in the primal universe. The 9 underworld leader was already invincible in the 9 underworld ocean. Luo Feng couldn't help but rejoice over his third body's choice. Luo Feng was in a remote valley within the treasure land. After sighing about the fall of the Wine Lord, he was quickly discovered by a few inheritors. However, Luo Feng was very calm. He continued to stroll around the treasure land. He had to stroll through the entire treasure land. Who knows, he might even find more. Anyway, most of his consciousness was in the virtual universe training. This treasure hunt didn't require too much effort. Half an hour after Luo Feng acquired the ancient ship Milky Way, while he was strolling around the treasure land. Knife River. A silhouette flew over. Luo Feng looked up. It was Chiu Rain Emperor. Luo Feng smiled and nodded. Congratulations, the moment I entered Glory World, I heard you acquired treasure, and it's one of the 108. Chiu Rain Emperor said excitedly. Congratulations. It's all right. Luo Feng smiled. Where's Emperor Chemin and the rest? True Yen has prepared a celebration feast for you. Emperor Chemin and the rest are all there. True Yen ordered me to come personally to invite you. Xiao Rain Emperor smiled. The knight said that acquiring one of the 108 treasures of the ancestral god sect will be known for trillions of years. It has to be celebrated, and it has to be more formal. Hence, I was ordered to fly over to invite you. Luo Feng was shocked, after which he couldn't help but laugh. His teacher had actually prepared a celebration feast. I was planning to continue strolling. Luo Feng looked at the treasure land around him. Looks like I'll have to come back later. Stroll for what? Xiao Rain Emperor asked curiously. What's there to stroll about? Knife River, didn't you acquire the treasure? Who knows, I might be able to activate the second treasure. Luo Feng said. How can that be? Only activating the first treasure. There's no way to activate the second treasure. Xiao Rain Emperor said. This is a rule that has been formed ever since the ancestral god sect opened the treasure land. Luo Feng blinked. Even though he had asked Emperor Chemin and the rest about the information regarding the treasure land, he had only asked about the triggering situation, etc. He didn't ask if he could activate the second treasure. Let's go, I won't lie to you. Xiao Rain Emperor said. Luckily you only strolled for a while. If you foolishly strolled for too long, I'm afraid many of the other inheritors would guess that you're trying to activate more treasures. You'd definitely become a laughing stock among the other inheritors. Luo Feng looked around. In the distance, the inheritors were still immersed in the shock of the treasure being discovered half an hour ago. After all, since the birth of the universe, out of the 108 treasures, only 42 had been discovered. Today, another one was discovered. The inheritors were all conversing, occasionally looking at Luo Feng. However, their gazes were mostly filled with envy and jealousy. Other than a few of the other races that had enmity with the humans, no one else revealed a greedy expression. Strength and status matched with the treasures. A star traveler punk, if he were to acquire a treasure, that would be courting death. Even a sector lord, back when the primal chaos city leader gave Luo Feng the treasure Wu Killer Wings, he didn't want Luo Feng to reveal it, otherwise there would be trouble. However, it was different now. Luo Feng had experienced Bark Mirror Emperor's pursuit and Swamp Corrosion Knight's assassination. He had long proven his strength. No one wanted to risk their lives for the treasures on Luo Feng. After all, for an unknown treasure, it wasn't worth risking one's life. Back then, when I first left Earth, I was very careful. Even an automaton ship brought disaster upon me. Luo Feng shook his head and laughed, sighing. Right now, he had treasures on him, yet not many dared to make a move on him. Watching Luo Feng and Xiao Rain Emperor leave together, Bark Mirror Emperor's face twitched, revealing his fangs. The other inheritors beside him all understood. Bark Mirror Emperor was probably furious. Damn humans. Bark Mirror Emperor was filled with rage. I just relied on a bit of luck. When I find a chance, I'll definitely make you understand that one's own strength is the foundation. I don't believe there'll be another 9 underworld whirlpool for you next time. He hated True Yen and hated Blade River Emperor. Right now, however, he saw Blade River Emperor acquire one of the 108 treasures. This feeling of dissatisfaction made Bark Mirror Emperor extremely uncomfortable. Bark Mirror Emperor. Beside, a foreign race member's green tongue flickered, making a sound. This Blade River Emperor is arrogant now, with such a huge reputation. However, he's only a sector lord. To be able to kill an Emperor-level warrior, he definitely has to rely on some special powers from an external treasure. However, as one's strength gets higher, the use of the treasures gets smaller. Once he becomes an undying, those treasures will definitely be less useful to him. No matter what, he's just a human. His life form is very low. Once he becomes an undying, he'll be far from being able to compare with Bark Mirror Emperor, Bug Emperor, and the other special life forms of the universe. Well said. Bark Mirror Emperor's eyes gleamed. He couldn't help but look at the foreign race member with satisfaction. He's just a human. Bark Mirror Emperor licked his fangs. Looking at the distant direction, Luo Feng disappeared in. How high can his life form be? Relying on treasures to run amok for a while. Don't tell me he'll be able to run amok forever. Even if he becomes an undying, just based on my life form being 1,000 times higher than him, killing him would be as easy as destroying a star. P.S. The first chapter is up. There will be 3 more chapters today. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidian. Come to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1019. Bark Mirror Emperor was right. Relying on treasures to dominate for a while. One wouldn't be able to dominate forever. Like the Star Pagoda, such a powerful treasure, just fully activating it required shocking power. Hence, without power, just having treasures wouldn't do. As for the Famaw Venom, etc., in a Universe Night level battle, it had no value at all. Even the Golden Horned Beast's golden armor. If Bark Mirror Emperor burned his body and attacked with all his might, the golden armor would immediately explode. Hence the General Armor, Emperor Armor, Famaw Venom, etc. that were extremely beneficial to Luo Feng before. Some would be eliminated, others would have their uses greatly reduced. When Luo Feng, True Yin, and the others finished their banquet, the Primal Chaos City leader, however, summoned Luo Feng. Virtual Universe Lightning Island Peak, before that majestic palace amidst the endless energy currents. The Primal Chaos City leader was gazing down at the island. Teacher, Luo Feng appeared in mid-air, bowing respectfully. The Primal Chaos City leader turned and looked at Luo Feng, his eyes as deep as the starry skies and ocean, smiling. You've acquired one of the 108 treasures? Yes, it's a flying palace like top treasure. Luo Feng said. It's called the Silver Dragon Mirage Ship. Silver Dragon Mirage Ship? The Primal Chaos City leader pondered for a moment. He couldn't recall what treasure it was. However, he still said, if it's a flying palace-type treasure, then you've struck gold. This type of treasure has always been rare and precious, a flying palace-type treasure. I'm afraid even more than the Wu Killer Wings I gave you. It'll make the Universe Knights crazily chase after it. Luo Feng nodded. He knew this too. Who left the treasure? The Primal Chaos City leader asked. Wine leader. Luo Feng said, I've checked. He was one of the early 8 great beast gods of the ancestral god sect. Wine leader? Chung Feng? The Primal Chaos City leader immediately laughed. I know. It's his wine ship. I didn't expect it to be in your hands now. This wine leader is a very interesting universe lord. As a natural beast god, his power is extremely strong. However, natural beast gods are destined to be surrounded and hunted. Hence, the Primal Chaos City leader shook his head and sighed. Luo Feng couldn't help but feel shocked within. Innate beast gods were destined to be hunted and attacked? This made Luo Feng recall the ancient pictures he saw back in Blood River World. Back then, there was indeed an absolute being that battled with the beast god of Blood River World. From the looks of it, the beast god eventually fell. Why are you being hunted? Luo Feng couldn't help but ask. Chaos City Master looked at him and said calmly, innate beast gods are different from acquired beast gods. They are born from the essence of a universe. They are natural treasures. Their scales, their fur, their blood, all of them have miraculous effects. They are more precious than thousands of normal treasures. Killing an innate beast god is a feast for many powerful beings. Luo Feng's eyes were filled with shock. Fight! Fight for resources, fight for opportunities. The Primal Chaos City Master said, there are many ways to fight for points. Just like how the various races in the universe fought and schemed against each other for resources. This was a type of competition. For example, the ancestral god cult claims that they will not side with any faction and will not fight for territory. That's why they can be independent and not fight for territory. On the surface, they don't fight, but they are fighting on another level. Luo Feng nodded. There was an ancient Chinese saying, if a man doesn't fight, then no one in the world can fight against him. However, to make no one in the world can fight against him, one needed an extremely strong foundation. Just like the ancestral god cult, because they had 3 great ancestral gods in charge, along with the fact that they didn't side with any faction and didn't fight for territory, they were able to reach a higher level of fighting. Through the inheritance tablet and other methods, they were able to absorb countless geniuses from the universe. And when the countless races knew that the ancestral god cult didn't fight, they were naturally willing to send their geniuses over, allowing the ancestral god cult's resources to nurture their own race's future. Just like that, the ancestral god cult became the #1 power in the universe. They're all fighting, the primal Chaos City Master exclaimed. Ever since the first innate beast god fell, letting the universe races know of its many miraculous effects, the other innate beast gods were destined to be surrounded and attacked. No matter how powerful they are, against the combined attacks of the pinnacle beings of the universe, unless they hide forever, falling is unavoidable. Just like the blood river crystal you used, isn't it one of the treasures left behind by the innate beast god? The primal Chaos City Master looked at Luo Feng. Luo Feng trembled. Indeed, the one that died in Blood River World was an innate beast god. Remember, the strong eat the weak. The primal Chaos City Master looked at Luo Feng. This is the law of the strong. There are trillions of races in the universe. To any other race, you are a foreign race. No one will show any pity. There will always be fights. Hence, what you have to do is to constantly acquire resources to strengthen yourself. The stronger you are, the stronger your race will be. The true power of a race is formed by the highest level beings. Every one of them is the pillar of the race. In the future, you have a high chance of becoming the pillar of the race. Luo Feng nodded. Speaking of the blood river crystal, before you break through to undying, remember to absorb it to its limit. The primal Chaos City Master instructed. This will also help you raise your life genetic level in the future. You are a black warrior. Your life genetic level has a high chance of reaching 100 times that of a normal life in the universe. 100 times? Luo Feng was curious. As he trained in the 9 Calamity Manuals, his Earth body's life genetic level had already reached 48 times. If he were to use the Blood River energy, it would reach 480 times. It would be considered a relatively good special life in the universe. 100 times is the limit. The primal Chaos City Master nodded. My body's strength amplifier, 100 times is the limit. Soul amplifier, 100 times is the limit. Life genetic level, 100 times is also the limit. This is a part of the laws of the universe. Just like in the actual universe, the fastest flight speed is light speed. These are all ironclad rules. Luo Feng held his breath. Whether it was his body's strength amplifier or his soul spirit amplifier, they were all extremely rare. Just like the demon note inheritance Luo Feng had received, it was a soul spirit amplifier technique. Up till now, Luo Feng only had 32 times of amplification. As for his body's strength amplifier, Luo Feng didn't even have such luck. The limit is 100 times? Luo Feng muttered. Right? 100 times. However, his life genetic level, his Earth body was already 480 times, and the Golden Horn Beast was over 1,000 times. Life genetic level. There's no way to exceed the 100 times limit? Luo Feng asked. There is. The primal Chaos City Master nodded. What method? Luo Feng asked. Possession. The primal Chaos City Master said. Possession of a special life form. As long as one possesses the body of the special life form, only the soul will change. The natural abilities related to the soul may disappear, but the natural abilities related to the body and the life genetic level can be inherited. However, this is very difficult. The primal Chaos City Master explained. Firstly, an undying's life imprint is infused into every cell. If one destroys the life imprint, it's equivalent to destroying the entire body. Hence, the possession can only be done on those below the undying level. Secondly, if I was a sector lord and wanted to possess a universe-level special life form, the primal Chaos City Master said, defeating it is easy, possession is hard. Even if I did, I'm a sector lord soul. The burden on my body is huge. The moment my body can't handle it, it will still crumble. Luo Feng nodded. Soul and body were compatible. Normal humans, Sector Lord Level 9 human souls, their bodies had to at least reach Sector Lord Level 7. Otherwise, if the soul was too strong, it would cause the body to crumble. To find a special life form body that can carry the soul, however the moment it can, it means the special life form's power is very close to yours. Plus its natural abilities, it's not you hunting it, but hunting you instead. The Primal Chaos City Master explained. What's more, Sector Lord's special life forms almost never leave the universe secret region. Even if you meet it, even if you can defeat it, the special life form might rather self-destruct than be possessed. Anyway, possession of a special life form, even though there are many benefits, it's very hard to succeed. The Primal Chaos City Master said. There are very few in the universe that can do it. Luo Feng asked, are there any other ways? Like you have a natural ability to create clones, nurturing a special life form. Isn't that enough? The Primal Chaos City Master said. Of course, the special life forms that can be nurtured are usually very weak special life forms. Luo Feng nodded. Yes, the World Tree had no way to nurture it himself. One had to know that he was the Golden Horned Beast's internal world, and it was also a huge internal world formed from swallowing metal. The limit of the clones he could nurture was probably only a few hundred times his normal life form. Anyway, the many methods are usually done with the help of the special life forms. The Primal Chaos City Master said. Are there any other methods? Luo Feng asked. What other methods would there be? The Primal Chaos City Master shook his head. No. The Primal Chaos City Master hesitated for a moment before saying, of course, there are trillions of races in the universe. There are also some absolute beings with secrets that have yet to be discovered. Maybe there are methods that even I don't know of. However, I can confirm that the laws of the universe are as such. It's fair. Even if there are some heavenly methods, the price would be extremely high. Luo Feng nodded. Right. The 9 Calamities Manual was created by the universe's strongest warrior mountain guest. He spent countless amounts of effort and time to create it, and even used the priceless Sky Soul Crystal to carry it. Even so, only one life form could obtain the information and contents of the 9 Calamities Manual. The laws of the universe were extremely harsh. One could only imagine. Don't think so much 100 times is the limit. The Primal Chaos City Master smiled. To be able to reach 100 times, it's rare in the universe. Many knights only have life forms that are 10 times. And you're a black warrior. Right now you can reach 10 times. After that, with the beast god blood, you'll be able to raise it even further. Luo Feng nodded. He had originally planned to absorb the crystal before breaking through to undying. That way, his god body would immediately reach an extremely strong level. Go! If you need the beast god blood, you can request for resources from the Virtual Universe Company. The Primal Chaos City Master said. Yes. Luo Feng bowed respectfully and left. Primal region, within the palace. The Masha clansmen sat cross-legged. Within the internal world, the golden horned beast began to absorb the crystal again. P.S. Chapter 2 has arrived. There's still Chapter 3, asterisk, to be continued. If you like this work, please come come to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1020. Back then in the outer region battlefield, Luo Feng had once allowed the golden horned beast to absorb the crystals, causing the total number of crystals it had absorbed to reach 165. At that time, the 9 Calamity Manual had only just trained the first level, and Luo Feng hadn't gone through the Star Pagoda life and death inheritance. Hence his willpower hadn't evolved yet. 166, 167, 168. The golden horned beast was like a mountain, lying there, and the earth body sat crossed-legged on the back of the golden horned beast. As a space beast that was over 1,000 kilometers long, it was like a huge mountain range. Its back was extremely wide. The earth body sat on its back, almost like he was sitting on a huge scale plane. Chi! The earth body's wings flapped, easily cutting through the scales and creating a wound on the golden horned beast's back, after which he threw out the triangular crystal. Another one, and another one. The golden horned beast continued to absorb blood river crystal after blood river crystal. 196, 197, 198. Luo Feng sat there, throwing the crystals, exclaiming within. That life and death inheritance from before, that torture of over 6,000 years of life and death experience had indeed caused his willpower to completely change. It had been close to 10,000 years since the last time he absorbed the crystals, and his improvement had obviously been huge. 200 crystals. As the 200th Blood River crystal was absorbed into the golden horned beast's back, the Blood River energy was activated on its back. The muscles, bones, scales, and flesh on its back started to change. Its back bulged up. The muscles were like steel bars wrapping around it. The scales became dense and glaring gold. On the surface of the golden scales were blood-red threads, countless of them forming a heart-palpitating image of a beast god roaring. Powerful strength. Powerful strength. After training the first 5 levels of the 9 Calamity Manual, along with the fact that the golden horned beast's life genetic level was 10 times that of a normal life form. Hence, after training the manual, the golden horned beast's life genetic level reached 480 times. Its back was originally 480 times. Now that it activated the Blood River energy, just like the right claw, it instantly reached its limit. Its back itself had increased by over 20 times. It was equivalent to 2 times before the entire body was activated. The right claw was the same. The moment it was activated, it was equivalent to 2 times before the entire body was activated. Continue absorbing. Maintain balance. Choose the left claw. The earth body stood on the vast grassland and looked at the huge claw before him. The scales on the claw had already been cut open and blood flowed out. Luo Feng threw the crystals over one by one. 226, 227, 228, 281, 282. This is quite an impact on my willpower. The earth deity frowned slightly. Absorbing a total of 282 crystals, the killing intent had already begun to affect his willpower. Using the number of Blood River crystals to compare, I can easily feel my own improvement. My willpower has indeed improved greatly. Luo Feng's expression didn't change. Whether it was the killing aura rush or the pain from the Blood River energy infusing, it wasn't much. Compared to the pain from the pearl infusing into his soul, it was much weaker. 299300. His left claw was also fused to the limit. Ayo, the golden horned beast excitedly called out, at the same time activating its front claws. The left and right claws immediately became a size thicker. The scales all became a dazzling gold. On the gold scales there were blood-colored threads forming the image of 2 beast god heads roaring. Stepping on the beast god image, the golden horned beast also felt the explosive increase in strength. I feel like I can absorb a few more. Gathering them in one spot won't benefit much. I'll split them up. I'll absorb 10 from every spot. Luo Feng made his decision. Every time he absorbed one more, Luo Feng was filled with excitement and anticipation, because this represented his strength. However, there was a limit to how much he could endure. Relying on his strong willpower on the 381st crystal, Luo Feng finally couldn't take it anymore. The killing aura had exceeded his limits, causing him to howl in pain, finally failing. Right claw, left claw, and back each absorbed 100 crystals. Tail, back 2 claws, a pair of scaled wings, upper back connected to the 2 claws and neck, head. These 7 areas, the head had absorbed 20 crystals, the rest had 10. A total of 80 crystals. The total number of crystals absorbed reached 380. Right claw, left claw, and back. These 3 areas are equivalent to 2 times my entire body strength before activating the Blood River energy. More accurately, it's a little more. And the other 7 areas are equivalent to 1 times my entire body strength before activating the Blood River energy. Then my total strength is over 6,000 times Sector Lord strength, which means my life genetic level is over 6,000 times. close to 6,500 times. Luo Feng immediately calculated the approximate range. Ao, the golden-horned beast raised its head and howled, simultaneously activating all the blood river energy in its body. This blood river energy had already filled every part of its body. With this activation, the genes of the entire body started to change. The structure of the body started to change. One could only hear the bones of the entire body letting out a bone-chilling sound. The entire golden horn beast seemed to instantly grow a size larger. The scales became a light gold, especially the front claws and back. They were a dazzling gold. These three areas were the thickest. Every single scale of the entire body was covered in blood-red threads, forming a beast-god diagram. Some simple, some perfect, and exquisite. This bloodline power made the golden-horned beast incredibly powerful. To be precise, I feel it's 6,400 times. The golden-horned beast made the most accurate judgment of its body. Before activating, it was 480 times. The moment it activated, it was already 6,400 times. Awoo, 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 awoo. The golden-horned beast raised its head and roared. Each roar was filled with excitement and excitement. Ha! More than 6,000 times. That bug emperor is known as the unique life form in the universe. That's 5,000 times. Bark Mirror Emperor's life genetic level is 2,000 times. In the entire universe, there are only a handful of its kind. And I am even stronger than Bug Emperor, more than 6,000 times. Luo Feng looked up at the golden-horned beast, his eyes filled with excitement. Exhilarating, exhilarating. Its own life genetic level was able to suppress the unique life form Bug Emperor. To be able to surpass 5,000 times in terms of life genetic level, they are all extraordinary. I'm one of them. According to the amount of blood river crystals absorbed, each spot would at most absorb 100 crystals. That means my entire body would at most absorb 1,000 crystals. When that time comes, my life genetic level should be about 10,000 times. Luo Feng guessed and came up with a conclusion. 10,000 times. The unique life forms in the universe would normally reach a few thousand times or even 10,000 times. If the trillions of normal life forms were to raise their genetic level, 100 times would be the limit. And this 10,000 times was obviously the limit of the countless unique life forms. After venting his excitement for a while, the golden horn beast is indeed one of my greatest killers. Its life genetic level is high, and it's over 1,000 kilometers long. Even if it burns its god body, it would take a very long time. Luo Feng thought, a 1,000 kilometers long golden horn beast, compared to a 2M tall human, had much more god energy, high level of life form, and its size was huge. How powerful was that? My earth body will also try absorbing the crystals. Luo Feng was filled with anticipation. The earth body was different from the golden horn beast. The golden horn beast body was huge, hence it had to be split into 10 spots to absorb. However, the earth body was far from the size of claw of the golden horn beast. Hence, the earth body could only absorb a maximum of 100 crystals. Back then, when I trained in the second level of the 9-level manual, my life genetic level reached 6 times. At that time, I successfully absorbed the 10th crystal. Now that I've trained in the 5th level, my life genetic level is 48 times. I wonder how many I can absorb. Without a doubt, his willpower could withstand the killing aura of 380 crystals. As for the earth body absorbing the crystals, the main factor was the earth body's life genetic level. The 11th, Luo Feng sliced open his palm and began to absorb the crystals. Crystal after crystal was absorbed. With a 48 times life genetic level, his genes were extremely outstanding. The limit he could absorb was much higher too. The 61st, Luo Feng continued to absorb the crystals, his anticipation growing. The 81st, 82nd, 83rd, no. Luo Feng felt his bones and tendons breaking, his muscles tearing apart. Immediately, the blood river energy began to flow back into the crystal. It only absorbed 82 crystals. Luo Feng couldn't believe it. Back then, when the golden horn beast absorbed 100 crystal for the first time, he hadn't trained in the 9-level manual. At that time, the golden horn beast's life level was only 10 times. His earth body's life genetic level had reached 48 times. How could it not compare to the golden horn beast from back then? Is it because the blood river crystals are extremely suitable for the golden horn beast? Luo Feng thought. From the time he had interacted with the crystals till now, it seemed that other life forms had a hard time absorbing the crystals. Even his earth body had to train in a 9-level manual before he could barely absorb 10 crystals. However, the golden horn beast had always been able to easily absorb them. No matter when, the golden horn beast's body could absorb. The only thing that troubled Luo Feng was his willpower not being able to withstand the killing aura. The blood river crystal comes from the gold and space natural beast god. Luo Feng thought. The golden horn beast belongs to the pinnacle bloodline of the metal-type space beasts. It also has the swallowing ability, that space attribute. Maybe the golden horn beast's life genes are naturally suitable for absorbing the crystals. Absorbing the crystals should have extremely high requirements for one's life genes. The golden horn beast was born this way, and the 9-level manual should be an overall increase in one's life genes. It's only a small increase in that area. That's why it's easier for me to absorb the crystals. Luo Feng pondered for a while before coming up with such a conjecture. Endless grass plain. The golden horned beast laid there. A small human silhouette was leaning on its huge claws. What do I do? Luo Feng leaned on the cold scales. I've only absorbed 82 crystals. I'm very close to 100. As long as I can absorb 100, the moment I activate it, it'll increase by 100 times. Then my earth body will reach 4,800 times. Even though it's smaller, my earth body strength will be extremely strong. Don't tell me I have to wait until I train in the 6th level of the 9-level manual before I can let my earth body absorb 100 crystals? No, maybe beast god blood. Luo Feng nodded. He immediately sent a thread of consciousness into the virtual universe. P.S. 3 chapters completed. Tomorrow, 5 chapters, work hard. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidian. Come to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 10:21. Virtual Universe Yuxiang Mountain. Before his desk, Luo Feng looked at the screen that displayed the information regarding the beast god blood. He couldn't help but crease his eyebrows. 100 blood river crystals can produce 1 drop of beast god blood. However, the production process is a little complicated. I can only apply for it from the Virtual Universe Company. As for the effects of the beast god blood, Luo Feng was very clear. A drop of beast god blood merging into the body was actually equivalent to 1 blood river crystal merging into the body. Hence, using beast god blood was a very extravagant method. Usually, a maximum of 100 blood river crystals was enough. However, if one relied on beast god blood, 100 drops would be equivalent to 10,000 blood river crystals. This was the price. Only by paying 100 times the price could one lower the killing or invasion and pain, etc. After all, for a human body to be able to absorb 10 crystals, it would take who knows how many eras to produce one. I wonder how much beast god blood I can get. Luo Feng thought. These precious resources are all strictly controlled. Many emperors who want to buy them have to wait for the auction. Even money can't buy them. Simultaneously, Luo Feng sent out the request. After a while, Lord Luo Feng, how do you do? On the screen appeared a fox lady with furry ears and soft purple fur. She should be one of the foxmen from the human race. I need beast god blood. Luo Feng said immediately. According to the quota, Lord Luo Feng can get 50 drops for free. The fox lady smiled sweetly. However, she was shocked within. Because the Universe Knights and Universe Lords didn't have the right to get resources for free. They had to rely on their contributions to the race to exchange for it. Without contributions, they wouldn't be able to get resources. And the emperors that were worth nurturing might get a free quota. However, the quota was usually very low. For example, 10 crystals, not even 1 drop of beast god blood. She specialized in dealing with the upper echelon of the race. There had never been anyone who got 50 drops of beast god blood for free. For them to be able to get so much for free, it meant that as long as they paid the price, they could get more. Indeed, the legendary absolute genius. And everyone says he's the Blade River Emperor. If he really is, then it wouldn't be strange at all. The Fox Lady thought. Send me 30 drops. Luo Feng said. Yes. The Fox Lady said, may I know where to send it? This is the address. Luo Feng immediately entered the address of his residence in the Primal region. His residence was currently in the Primal Chaos City Leader's territory. It was definitely the core of the Primal region. It's in the primitive mystic realm. The Fox Girl smiled. Then the 30 drops of beast god blood will be delivered today. HM. Luo Feng nodded. He then turned off the call. Free? Luo Feng revealed a smile. Looks like the clan has prepared a free quota for me. It's just that I didn't ask for it, and when I'm not in a rush to use it, the clan won't automatically give it to me. 50 drops of beast god blood. I heard it's hard to get such a huge amount even in an auction. However, my earth body has already absorbed 82 blood river crystals. I just need 18 more drops of beast god blood. As for the golden horned beast, it would require over 600 crystals. Just relying on the beast god blood is too difficult. Luo Feng thought. His own golden horned beast genetic level had already exceeded 6,000 times. And when he became an undying with a large amount of high-level god energy as his foundation, naturally he would develop an extremely strong consciousness. A strong consciousness, to a certain extent, would help willpower too. Just like how a strong person's willpower would be easily strengthened, and a weak person who was about to faint would usually have weak willpower. Obviously, whether the soul was strong or not, had a supporting effect. Like the universe lords, their god energy was vast. Their souls were one with the universe. It could be said their willpower surpassed Luo Feng's. Even though their encounters were all extraordinary, it was also because of their god energy. If a normal person wanted to have willpower comparable to a universe lord's, it was indeed impossible. My life level has already exceeded 6,000 times. From now on, every increase will be very small. There's no rush. Luo Feng thought. A mere 3 hours later, outside Luo Feng's palace, there was a special servant who brought in a storage ring. Within it was the beast god blood. Go ahead, Luo Feng said. Yes, the undying servant replied respectfully. In the Primal Chaos City Leader's territory, even if it was a servant or a food delivery person, they were all undyings, and they were all fighting over it. Without some ability, one couldn't even enter. After all, one could occasionally see the great Primal Chaos City Leader here. Those who stayed here were usually the city leader's disciples and the upper echelon. Returning to the internal world, Luo Feng took out a silver briefcase from his space ring and easily opened it. There were 30 transparent transistors in the briefcase. Each transistor had a drop of dazzling golden light that emitted waves of energy. The roars of the beast god could be faintly heard. Beast god blood. Luo Feng carefully took out a transistor and gently removed the stopper, pouring it into his left palm. At first glance, it looked like a gold light. If one looked closely, one could see a drop of golden liquid within. Within it, countless origin law engravings flowed. Pa! The golden light dripped down and landed on his palm. In an instant, it completely seeped in, following which, Luo Feng's entire skin glowed with a golden light. The blood river energy in every cell of Luo Feng's was already very dense. Hence, this drop of blood easily seeped in, and the reaction was extremely small. A black warrior, even making the Primal Chaos City Leader teacher happy. He said absorbing the beast god blood would definitely be easy. Right now, I've absorbed 82 crystals, far surpassing the black warrior's limit of 10. Luo Feng smiled. Absorbing the blood of the beast god is as simple as drinking water. He immediately took out another transistor and pulled out the plug, pouring the blood in. Drop after drop, the beast god blood permeated Luo Feng's body. After a while, absorbing all 18 drops of beast god blood was easier than Luo Feng had expected. However, when Luo Feng tried to absorb the 19th drop of beast god blood, that drop of beast god blood rolled around in Luo Feng's palm. No matter how hard he tried, it couldn't be absorbed. Looks like 100 is indeed the limit. Luo Feng nodded. The blood river energy within me has already reached its limit. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. Blood river energy, activate. Rumble. Luo Feng's body suddenly exploded with an ancient energy, almost as though it came from the most ancient era of the universe. His body became taller and stronger. Every inch of his skin was covered in scales. Countless blood-colored threads wrapped around his body. Especially on his chest, there was a huge beast godhead roaring. It was incomparably exquisite, almost as though a real beast god was roaring. A faint golden glow enveloped his entire body. Ha, what a strong power! Luo Feng had long taken off his armor and personally felt the power within his body. Not right. Luo Feng's expression changed. Why did it just pass 3,000 times? Luo Feng frowned curiously. According to his calculations, the moment he absorbed 100 crystals, his power would explode by 100 times. Just like the golden horned beast's right claw, it would initially explode by 100 times, 10 times its strength before activating it. However, as it reached 10,000 times, it couldn't grow anymore. I originally had 48 times. Now it's just past 3,000, which is a little more than 60 times before. Luo Feng revealed a curious expression. The effects had weakened. The effect of the blood river energy on the golden horned beast could be said to be perfect, but on the earth body, the effect was weakened. The beast god blood, to the other unique life forms in the universe, it's probably useless. Luo Feng pondered. For example, a water element life form. Its genetic level has reached 1,000 times. Using the beast god blood might not work on it. The beast god blood is a natural beast god of gold and space. Don't tell me this beast god blood has an extremely good effect on me in the early stages, but as time goes on, the effects gradually weaken. Luo Feng guessed. However, it was just a guess, after which he didn't think any further. No matter what, the facts had already proven that after his earth body's beast god blood reached perfection, along with the basic 48 times, his genetic level had exceeded 3,000 times. Wait until I get the next metal plate of the 9 Calamities manual, then my genetic level can rise again. Luo Feng smiled and nodded. Even though it wasn't the best situation he had hoped for, the possibility of 3,000 times his genetic level still made Luo Feng excited and happy, because this was already the level of some of the pinnacle life forms in the universe. Luckily, I have the 9 Calamities manual. Otherwise, I'd be like the trillions of life forms. My genetic level would at most increase by 100 times. Luo Feng thought. The 9 Calamities manual. This was the reason why Luo Feng was comparable to the pinnacle of life forms. The other blood river crystals were just icing on the cake. Time passed. Ever since his earth body and the golden horned beast had absorbed the crystals, Luo Feng continued his training. Other than occasionally spending time with his family, everything was peaceful. In the blink of an eye, another 100 years had passed. Finally, it was time for the third body to be born. Within the internal world, on the plains, the golden horned beast's 4 claws were as thick as pillars, looking up at the sky. The Masha clansmen stood on the back of the golden horned beast, also looking up at the sky. In the sky, there was an incomparably huge, oval-shaped golden egg floating. This oval-shaped golden egg was small when it first hatched, but as it grew, it got bigger and bigger, and now was tens of thousands of km tall. Soon, it's about to be born. Such a huge size. Will it be an ocean the moment it's born? Luo Feng's consciousness thought. Before the incubation was completed, the life within the golden egg was in a confused state. After about 8 hours, cracks began to appear on the 10,000 kilometers tall golden egg. This made Luo Feng's other three bodies hold their breaths in anticipation. With a final crack, the eggshell completely broke apart. A 10,000 kilometers tall giant stood in midair. This was a naked body that could be said to be perfect. It was 10,000 kilometers tall, and its skin was white and translucent, almost like a jade carving. However, there were faint blood-red threads hidden within, giving it a bewitching feel. My third body. It's actually a flesh and blood life form. Luo Feng's earth body and the other three bodies were all stunned by this unexpected surprise. P.S. First chapter has arrived. There will be 5 chapters today. Work hard. If you have monthly votes, please support Tomato. The more monthly votes I have, the more motivation I'll have for writing these 5 chapters. Monthly votes. Monthly votes. Asterisk, to be continued. If you like this work, please come to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1022. The 9-level secret manual required 1 to be a flesh and blood life form to train, and Luo Feng's Masha clansman was an energy life form. Hence, it caused the Masha clansman to have a huge difference compared to his earth body and golden horn beast. Even with the origin treasure's space heart's essence being completely transferred over, causing the Masha clansman to evolve, it still didn't break through the 100 times limit. It was destined that the Masha clansman's pure strength was much weaker. It was mainly used to escape, hide and disguise, etc. Battle? He still had to rely on his main body and the golden horn beast. Choosing the 9 underworld ocean clone, Luo Feng looked at the endless god energy ocean too. Ha! This is simply a gift from the heavens. The black-clothed Luo Feng's laughter was like a shockwave, spreading in all directions. Give me an unexpected surprise. This third body, being able to train the 9 catastrophe secret manual, its potential is limitless, even comparable to the 9 Hell Lord. Then my third body shall be called Ocean. Ocean. From this moment on, his main body and the 3 great bodies were decided. He had an earth body. The first was the golden horn beast, the second was the Masha clansman, and the third was the serene ocean. The foundations have been formed. Will I, Luo Feng, become a weak sapling in this universe warrior forest, or become the thickest and tallest tree? It all depends on my own hard work. Luo Feng was filled with pride at this time. His main body and the 3 great bodies, standing among the strongest in the universe, was no longer a problem. I'll first carefully study my ocean. The ocean was indeed very handsome. However, its body was too huge. Its height was close to 10,000 kilometers. Sitting cross-legged on the grass plain, it was like a huge statue. Strength, about 300 times Sector Lord's. The ocean said solemnly, looks like my ocean's life genetic level is about 300 times. That Sector Lord level world tree's life level is about 1,000 times. No wonder this ocean could successfully nurture it. However, just 300 times life genetic level, yet it has such a huge body? Normally, the higher the life genetic level, the bigger the body would be. Of course, for special life forms like plants and rocks, even if their genetic levels were several hundred times higher, their bodies would still be frighteningly huge. After all, even a normal life form like the cloud contact vine was over 1,000,000 kilometers long. It was clear that plant life forms had an advantage in terms of size. The serene sea clone is a fleshly life form. How can it be so large? The serene ocean clone sat down cross-legged and began to sense his own body. Very soon, he sensed that his massive body's bones, muscles, blood vessels, and other parts all had the faint aura of laws, containing traces of information. Luo Feng's consciousness absorbed the information. I see. The serene ocean clone muttered softly. Even the primal Chaos City leader doesn't know what kind of talent the master of the 9 Nether sect has. In reality, the master of the 9 Nether sect definitely has a secret talent. After all, my serene ocean clone has 2 secret talents. The information contained within this huge body allowed Luo Feng to completely understand some of the mysteries of the Netherworld realm. The Serene Sea clone had 2 secret talents. First, sea transformation. Second, creation of which the first talent, sea transformation, allowed the serene ocean clone to instantly transform into an ocean with a diameter of 100,000 kilometers. The space around the ocean would be controlled by the ocean, and this control would only get more and more exaggerated as the serene ocean clone's strength grew. When it was weak, the effect on space was still very small. However, when it was strong, like the Nine Nether Sect Lord, his Nine Nether Ocean's control over the space around it had reached an extreme. No other universe lord dared to barge into his Nine Nether space. The second talent, creation. While transforming into the ocean, the entire body's bones and flesh would become a sea of blood. Relying on this creation talent, one could refine the energy and combine it with the genes, finally forming a life form. If used well, one could completely rely on this to create an entire race. Because this race was created, they would forever be subservient and respectful to the master who created them. What a powerful talent! The Serene Ocean clone said solemnly, no wonder it has such a huge size. If it's small, how can it transform into the ocean? The moment it transforms, it can control the space around it to a certain extent, meaning its power will explode. This should be considered a heavenly attack. It's a bit like the World Tree's control of space and time. As for creation, it might be a little useless. However, that race in an Nine Nether world was probably created by it. Energy-type life forms should be the easiest to create. As long as one can research the life crystal core, they can create life forms. Luo Feng nodded to himself. Even though it's useless, creating a race that completely obeys me is still something to be proud of. Haha, well, I didn't expect I've gotten them all. This Serene Ocean clone can affect the surrounding space and time. It has talent in space and time. The Serene Ocean clone's voice was low and thick, resounding throughout the land and skies. And it's a flesh and blood life form. Flesh and blood life form, space and time talent. These were all unexpected gains, making Luo Feng overjoyed. Only, the blood ocean, why is the size of the blood ocean wrong? The information from the talent says that it can instantly transform into an ocean with a diameter of about 100,000 kilometers. However, that prince in the Nine Netherlords ocean is much bigger. The Serene Ocean clone creased his eyebrows and pondered. Sector Lord level princes, the blood ocean's diameter was about 80 million kilometers. Undying level princes, the yellow ocean's diameter was about 960 million kilometers. Night level princes, the yellow ocean's diameter was about 32 billion to 101 billion kilometers. However, right now, his talent's information said to transform into the ocean. He could only transform it into an ocean with a diameter of 100,000 kilometers. This was a huge difference from even Sector Lord princes. Transform into the ocean. The Serene Ocean clone immediately unleashed his talent. Rumble, his entire body's muscles, bones, skin, and blood immediately melted. In the blink of an eye, he had already transformed into a surging blood ocean. The blood ocean's diameter was about 100,000 kilometers within Luo Feng's internal world. The moment it transformed into the ocean, Luo Feng's consciousness could feel this blood ocean's control over the surrounding space and time. It could only be because it was Sector Lord level. Its control over space and time was obviously very weak. However, its sense of time and space was extremely clear. Obviously, it had a very strong talent in space and time. Enlarge. Enlarge. Enlarge for me. Luo Feng's consciousness controlled the blood ocean. However, no matter how he tried, the blood ocean's diameter was still only about 100,000 kilometers. Even Sector Lord Prince's standard of 80 million kilometers didn't reach it. How can this be? The blood ocean rumbled in mid-air. The golden-horned beast and Masha clansmen were deep in thought on the grass plain. After my Serene Ocean clone transformed into the ocean, why is it different from the 9 Abyss Lord and the 108 Princes? Its size is obviously not as big as theirs. Luo Feng was very curious. A blood ocean with a diameter of 100,000 kilometers. If it was only 100,000 kilometers, there were plenty of special life forms in the universe. Those plant and rock types were much bigger. There were plenty. After pondering for a while, he organized the information. Not right. The 9 Abyss Lord and the 108 Princes, they seem different from me. Natural ability transform into the ocean. It can instantly transform into an ocean and also instantly return to its original state. The churning sea of blood in midair instantly recovered and turned back into the serene ocean clone that was nearly 10,000 kilometers tall. The serene ocean clone said in a low voice, "However, the 108 royal seas and the 9 underworld seas have not changed for billions of years. In fact, they have not even moved. The 9 Abyss Ocean had a diameter of over 10 light years. Forming the 9 Abyss space over countless years, it had always been in the ancestor god's secret region. And the 108 Princes Ocean had always been in the center of the 9 Abyss world, never moving at all. And from what the Primal Chaos City leader teacher said, when a 9 Abyss Lord goes out to kill, after he dies, the 9 Abyss Ocean will produce another 9 Abyss Lord. However, the natural ability transform into the ocean or the main body, they're unable to coexist at the same time. Once the main body is killed, it should immediately die. If it could be produced again, that means the one that died wasn't the main body. Luo Feng pondered, there's only one way to be like the 9 Abyss Lord. That is, first transform into the ocean, and then use the creation talent to create an energy body, concentrating most of his consciousness on the energy body. That way, once the energy body is destroyed, it can be formed again. And why hasn't the 9 Abyss Ocean moved? I'm afraid it's not that it doesn't want to move, but it can't. Luo Feng swiftly deduced, if it can move, then the 9 Abyss Lord can bring the 9 Abyss Ocean and roam the universe. Wouldn't that be invincible? Which means while the 9 Abyss Ocean is boundless and vast, it can't move. Luo Feng swiftly deduced many pieces of information from the clues. Gradually, the truth was revealed to him. The 9 Abyss Lord and his princes used some special method to make their ocean constantly grow, and the price was that they couldn't move by themselves. Luo Feng thought, even though they couldn't move, their huge bodies made their god energy almost limitless, forming an undying body. Like the plant and rock special life forms, it was hard for them to move. The bigger the body, the harder it was to move by itself. For the 9 Abyss Ocean to be so huge, it wasn't strange for it to be unable to move by itself. Just what method did they use to make their ocean so huge? The blood ocean, with a diameter of close to 100,000 kilometers, trembled constantly in mid-air. How did it go from 100,000 kilometers to 80,000 kilometers? This was on a completely different level, an 80,000 kilometers ocean. The energy was much more than a 100,000 kilometers ocean, and according to the rules, even if one became an undying, their body wouldn't change. Their height would still be close to 10,000 kilometers. Their ocean would still be 100,000 kilometers. However, the princes' undying and night-level oceans grew bigger and bigger. The largest ocean of the universe, night-level prince, reached 101 billion kilometers in diameter. Just how did the 9 Abyss Lord and his princes do it? P.S. Chapter 2 has arrived. To be continued. If you like this work, please come Achidian. Come to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 10:23. In the air above the vast grass plain, the blood sea rumbled, trying all sorts of methods to grow bigger. However, they all failed. You ocean can't even absorb energy. Its energy storage has long reached its limit. The blood sea, too, has reached its limit. I can't even expand an inch. 9 Abyss Lord, just how did you make the ocean grow bigger? Luo Feng tried for a total of 3 days, finally discovering that no matter what he tried, he still failed. Should I go ask the 9 Abyss Lord? The black-clothed Luo Feng stood on the grass plain and mocked himself, looking up at the rumbling blood sea in the sky. This was obviously a secret. When a 9 Abyss Lord was just born, he didn't have such a huge 9 Abyss Ocean. He definitely used some special method. That's why even his 108 princes had such a huge Emperor Ocean. After experimenting for a while, Luo Feng could only admit his failure. Then let's take a look at the second secret technique, creation. It can create life. It's really mysterious. Luo Feng's consciousness completely merged with the blood sea. The moment he unleashed the second secret technique, he felt himself enter a new domain. The surrounding air, the grass on the ground, etc., were swiftly analyzed, almost as though he could see through the essence of life. Creation. While looking at the grass on the grass plain, Luo Feng's consciousness moved. Within the blood sea, suddenly a small blade of grass was born. Creation. A flower was born within the blood sea, creating the Masha clansman. Luo Feng tried. However, when he looked at the Masha clansman, he felt that its life composition was too complex. There was no way to instantly create it. Creating flowers and grass has no sense of accomplishment. I have to create life. Luo Feng was suddenly immersed in the feeling of creation. The world energy could create flowers and grass, rivers, etc. However, that was just a form of evolution. And a natural talent creation was to first clearly see the life composition of another species and then use the natural talent to replicate this life composition, forming a new life. According to Luo Feng's guess, replicating other life compositions should be the most basic stage. The higher levels, like the Nine Abyss Lord, could create a powerful race. Creation was a very dreamy thing. Even though it couldn't raise one's strength, creating a race, how beautiful was that? No wonder the mountain traveler teacher would guide and create a race. Luo Feng thought, however, I'm different from him. I rely on my natural talent, while mountain traveler guides an already existing race. Under some special circumstances, it evolves into a new race. Luo Feng began his experiments. He first grabbed a few weak life forms and placed them in his internal world. Luo Feng quickly realized that the weaker they were, the simpler their genetic structure. The stronger they were, the higher their genetic structure was. It was extremely difficult to see clearly, not to mention copying his own structure. The Lord of a Netherworld first transformed into an ocean. Luo Feng had experimented with his natural talent creation for half a month and understood this point. First of all, it was very difficult to create a brand new race. The composition of life is very complicated. It was unknown how much effort the Lord of Tartarus had put in to create a very mature race. His 108 princes most likely all received the teachings and imitated them one by one. None of them went to create a new race. Obviously, it was too difficult to create an outstanding race that could easily grow to the level of realm master, give birth to a life imprint, have intelligence, and be able to cultivate by themselves. Just a single life, the amount of energy required was astonishing. No wonder the realm lord princes don't create life. The higher the level, the more energy it consumes. But the easiest thing to create is still oneself. Because every portion of the Sea of Blood was formed from the Serene Sea clone. The Sea of Blood itself contained the genes of the Serene Sea clone. Then if he wanted to create another ocean clone, he wouldn't even need to go through the life composition. Because every part of the sea water contained the life composition. Create. Luo Feng's thoughts moved. Hua hua hua. The blood sea rumbled and churned. Within the blood sea, a naked body appeared. After that, the naked body vanished, and the energy returned to the blood sea. Create. Another body about 100 meters tall appeared, and then melted back into the blood sea. Create. Another 1 kilometer tall body appeared and returned to the blood sea. Create. He tried again and again. Finally, he discovered that the body he created had a height limit of 1,000 kilometers. Just like the shrunken ocean clone from before. That's not right. The ocean clone's life gene level is 300 times. Why is the newly created ocean clone only 30 times? Luo Feng discovered the problem. The new ocean clone, its height was only 1,000 kilometers. That was 1/10 of the previous one. Its life gene level was only 30 times, which was 1/10 of the previous one. Seems like my natural talent creation still has some flaws. Luo Feng noticed too. The natural talent creation was different from the universe's life. Even though it was a complete copy, it was still lacking. There was no natural talent at all, and its life gene level was reduced by 90%. That's more like it. If I had the blood sea and could create a new ocean clone that's as strong as my body, that would be a joke. Luo Feng's consciousness that had completely merged with the blood sea suddenly felt that the entire blood sea was naturally absorbing energy. Obviously, the creation of the new ocean clone had consumed close to 10% of its energy. Even the blood sea had shrunk a little. At this time, the blood sea was automatically absorbing and recovering. Absorbing energy? When the blood sea is perfect, it can't absorb energy. And after it's damaged, it can absorb energy to recover. Luo Feng suddenly had a guess. Replenish, quickly replenish. Rumble. Within his internal world, the surging world energy swiftly flowed into the blood sea. In a short while, the blood sea had absorbed enough and recovered to its original size. And it didn't absorb any more world energy. The blood sea has completely recovered, and beside it is the new ocean clone. The two have the same energy source. Dissolve. The new ocean clone fell back into the blood sea and simultaneously melted. The melted blood sea water merged with the current blood sea. The two water merged, and immediately its size expanded. The blood sea that was originally 100,000 kilometers in diameter immediately expanded a little in all directions, causing the surrounding space to be pressured. And the blood sea's control of space and time also expanded a little. So it's like that. Creating the new ocean clone and allowing the blood sea to recover. Allowing the new ocean clone to melt into ocean water and merge with the blood sea. Naturally, it'll grow bigger. Luo Feng was immediately overjoyed. Create blood sea recovery. Every time expanded, the blood sea's energy absorption would recover to a new level. Dissolve, gather. The blood sea once again expanded. Continuously expanded 10 times. Return to my original body. When Luo Feng tried to return to his original body, he was shocked to find that he couldn't move. Just like a skinny person that could easily jump very high, when he went all out to eat and get fat, he couldn't jump anymore. Luo Feng had such a feeling. The entire blood sea seemed to be too big, unable to return to his original body. No wonder, even though the Nine Abyss Lord was always dead, he could always revive. Because the ones that died were just the clones he created. His true body was the Nine Abyss Ocean that had grown by who knows how much. Luo Feng completely understood. He couldn't help but get excited and laugh out loud. Every part of the blood sea laughed out loud, the sound shaking the skies. Disperse. Disperse. Large amounts of the ocean water dissolved into world energy and dispersed. In an instant, the world energy from before had dispersed, and the body had shrunk back to 100,000 kilometers in diameter. Return to my original body. Luo Feng tried again. Rumble, a close to 10,000 kilometers tall ocean of darkness body, appeared once more. This was the ocean of darkness body with 300 times his life genetic level. The newly created ocean of darkness body only had 30 times life genetic level, and its size was a size smaller. When the Nine Abyss Lord obtained the undying body, it also reduced his battle strength. After all, when he fought outside, he relied on the clones he created. One loss, one gain. The blood sea's enlargement is a long and stable process. For the Nine Abyss Ocean to become so big, it definitely took a very long time. To make the Nine Abyss Lord dissipate his god energy and shrink it to 100,000 kilometers in diameter, that's impossible. Luo Feng understood now why the Nine Abyss Lord was invincible. He himself was a universe lord, and he had accumulated his god energy to expand the Nine Abyss Ocean, causing it to expand to over 10 light years in diameter. Quantity caused quality to change. Just this Nine Abyss Ocean alone was comparable to the universe's strongest treasures. The only pity was that it couldn't be moved. I finally figured out the secret. Luo Feng was extremely excited. I'm not in a rush to form the ocean and expand it. There's another very important thing, to let the ocean clone train in the 9 Calamity Manual. Luo Feng had always been anticipating this. The ocean clone's life genetic level had reached 300 times, and the first 5 levels of the 9 Calamity Manual had reached 48 times. The moment the ocean clone trained, then in theory it could reach 14,400 times. However, according to Luo Feng's knowledge, even the unique special life forms in the universe had thousands to close to 10,000 times. 10,000 times. This seems to be the limit of a special life form's genetic level. I want to see the true limit of the universe life form's genetic level. Luo Feng was excited. My God, if the limit was 10,000 times, then the ocean clone could rely on the 9 Calamity Manual to reach it. If the limit was more than 10,000 times, then the ocean clone would step into a completely new and unknown territory. How could he not be excited? The ocean clone, will he truly step into the limit of the universe life form's genetic level? Luo Feng was filled with anticipation. Of course, the prerequisite was that the ocean clone had to be able to train in the 9 Calamity Manual. Even though he's a special life form, he's still a flesh and blood life form. He'll definitely be able to train. Luo Feng muttered to himself. However, he was afraid of the restrictions of the universe laws. After all, his earth body and the golden-horned beast body were both normal life forms, and they've trained for thousands of times now. And this time, they had the right to challenge the legendary limit. Begin. The ocean clone's close to 10,000 kilometers tall body sat crossed-legged on the grass and began to train in the 9 Calamity Manual's first level, PS. Third chapter has ended. Tomato will continue writing the fourth. Not finished yet. If you like this work, please come to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1024. If he could train the 9 Calamities Manual, then the ocean body too would be a powerful fighter. But if he couldn't, then he was destined to focus on the 2 aspects of cultivation and logistical divine power supply. It's done. The Serene Sea clone suddenly let out a heaven-shaking laughter. My genes are evolving under the cultivation of the 9 Tribulations Mystic Canon. What a mystical 9 Tribulations Mystic Canon. Mountain Guest is truly worthy of being one of the strongest experts in the universe. Luo Feng respected that mysterious teacher even more. At the same time, he felt fear towards the pinnacle of the universe. Mountain Guest was able to create the 9 Calamities Manual. Then what about the other strongest warriors of the universe? The gap between me and them is still huge. I'll slowly train and catch up. As for the rest, I'll wait till I have the strength to talk to them. Luo Feng couldn't be bothered to think. Continuing to train, he only knew his own strength was far from enough. However, he was indeed very lucky. First researching the method to transform the ocean body into a huge ocean, and now the ocean body could train the 9 Calamities Manual. He could train, however, to finish the first 5 calamities required a very long time. The ocean body was even bigger than the golden-horned beast. Its evolution was even slower. Even with Luo Feng's experience, according to his speed, just the first calamity alone would require 100 years. The Serene Sea clone cultivated the 9 Tribulations Mystic Tome, while the other clones continued to study the spatial laws and the creation of the 3rd style of the Bright Moon strategy. In the blink of an eye, 100 years had passed. The ocean body that had been sitting like a statue, not exploding at all, slowly opened his eyes, saying softly, "The first calamity has been completed. The life genetic level has reached 900 times." The first calamity was a 3 times increase. From 300 to 900 times, just the first calamity's power made Luo Feng exclaim. No wonder this technique was restricted by the universe laws. Even a mountain guest couldn't teach it to any life form. He had to rely on the heavenly soul crystal to teach it to just one life form. I can't wait. It easily went from 300 to 900 times. Next time, it'll be 1,800 times. Continue. The ocean body closed his eyes and trained for the second calamity. Being able to feel himself constantly improving, it was a very beautiful feeling. The second calamity was completed. The ocean body's life genetic level had indeed reached 1,800 times. The third calamity was completed. The ocean body reached 3,600 times. Everything was going according to plan. In the primitive mystic realm, The Thousand Treasure River flowed up and down. The six paragons sat cross-legged, listening to the primal Chaos City Lord's lecture. This Luo Feng nurturing the third body, according to what he told me, 600 years is enough. After the third body forms, he'll break through to undying. But it's almost been 1,000 years. Why hasn't there been any movement? The Chaos City Master turned his head and glanced into the distance. His gaze pierced through the palace walls, and he saw a palace in the distance. In the palace, the Earthling's original body sat cross-legged, and the Sky Array King waited beside him. This Luo Feng's encounters are extraordinary, consecutively acquiring so many treasures, always exceeding my expectations. I'm afraid something special happened that delayed him. Since he didn't come to me, let him solve it himself. The primal Chaos City leader took a look and didn't bother anymore. At least he was satisfied with this disciple Luo Feng. He wasn't afraid of anything unexpected. After all, Luo Feng often surprised him. The primal Chaos City Lord continued to give pointers to His Majesty's six swans. Time passed. Ever since nurturing the third body, Luo Feng had been researching the space laws and creating his own absolute arts. It had been over 1,000 years, and he had some results in these two areas. And the 9 Calamity Manual was still incomparably stable and slowly improving, about 1 level every 100 years. After 400 years of training, the ocean body's 4th level was completed. His life genetic level had doubled once again, reaching 7,200 times. 7,200 times life genetic level. The serene ocean clone sat cross-legged, his eyes as bright as stars. He could feel the surging power in his body. Before cultivating, it was only 300 times, which was a very ordinary special life form. Now it was already 7,200 times, far surpassing the Insect King. I'm afraid even the 9 Underworld's Lord's life genetic level is only at this level. The ocean body said softly. Continue, 5th level. The ocean body said softly, his voice filled with endless anticipation. 5th level. The earth body, the Masha clansman, and the golden horned beast all opened their eyes, anticipating the crucial 5th level. The training for the 5th level, Luo Feng, was filled with anticipation from the start. The ocean body's life genetic level was slowly rising. 7,200, 7,300, 7,400, 8,000, 8,100, 9,000, 9,100. It's already broken through 9,000. Luo Feng even stopped studying the space laws. 99% of his consciousness was focused on the ocean body, not daring to be careless. And he too felt. After his life genetic level broke through 9,000, his evolution speed was obviously slower, almost like he had entered a bottleneck. Every point consumed more time. 9,500, 9,600 at this time, the ocean body's life genetic level had already surpassed many heavenly special life forms. Many unique special life forms hadn't even crossed the 9,000 threshold. 9,900, improvement was getting harder and harder. His life genetic level struggled to raise again and again. The increment was extremely minute, finally nearing that threshold, 10,000. Even though his life genetic level was difficult, he was still steadily at this step. My life genetic level has reached 10,000 times. The ocean body felt the energy in his body, getting more and more excited, after which he suppressed it and continued training. It seems like I haven't reached my limit yet. As long as I can improve, I will continue to break through. It was indeed slowly increasing. After breaking through 10,000, his life genetic level was even harder to increase. The increment was extremely minute. After a long while, Luo Feng's life genetic level increment completely stopped. At this time, every inch of the ocean body skin, every inch of muscle and bone, was like the most perfect work of the universe. His life genetic level had already reached a perfect and flawless level. No matter how heavenly the 9-level manual was, against this already perfect life genetic level, it couldn't improve at all. Perfect. It's too perfect. Luo Feng's consciousness could even see the composition of every cell. whether it was macroscopic or microscopic, no matter which level, the ocean body was perfect and flawless. The ocean body's life genetic level just broke through 10,000. It's only slightly more than 10,000. Luo Feng's consciousness was able to make a more accurate judgment. Pa 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 pa, pili pa la. The ocean body naturally absorbed the energy, simultaneously growing taller and bigger. The entire ocean body was absorbing the world energy violently. It's just world energy, I have plenty. Luo Feng was overjoyed, whether it was the golden horned beast or his earth body. When they trained the 9-level manual, their bodies didn't grow at all. Even when the ocean body trained at 10,000 times, it didn't grow at all, and when it reached its perfect state, it finally began to grow, madly absorbing the world energy, even though it was considered a perfect life genetic level. Luckily, it was only sector lord level. The amount of energy it absorbed, Luo Feng could completely supply it. Its body continued to grow. 20,000 kilometers tall, 30,000 kilometers tall, 40,000 kilometers tall, it didn't stop. After a long while, when the entire body reached 90,000 kilometers tall, the ocean body finally stopped growing. Perfect. Even though Luo Feng didn't understand why he had such a feeling, but he felt that reaching this height was the perfect state. Just as the serene sea clone stopped growing and reached a height of over 90,000 kilometers, rumble, the entire internal world froze. The Masha clansman's expression of joy froze too. The golden horned beast's head was still raised. The grass that was blown by the wind remained low. The distant endless ocean's rolling waves stopped too. The water droplets floated, including the Bug Clan queen and large amounts of Bug Clan soldiers. They all froze. Ong, the earth body too, his eyes were still closed and not moving. Even if he wanted to move, he probably couldn't. Luo Feng's most important core was currently being infused with a mysterious energy. Actually, when the third body was formed, the core had already undergone some changes. However, at this time, with this unbelievable energy infusing into it, the core immediately underwent a transformation. The colors changed too. Fiery red, jade green, sky blue, earth yellow, glaring gold. Finally, it became a blurry mess. This seemingly normal core seemed to be filled with endless mysteries. As this inconceivable power poured into the origin core, it also seeped into the inner world. In the vast inner world, this power emitted its boundless might. This was a kind of pressure that could not be resisted, but no one could think of resisting. It was like a mother's embrace, causing any life to feel nostalgic. This wasn't tyrannical at all. However, it far exceeded the primal chaos city leader, even exceeding mountain guest's pressure. When this energy poured into Luo Feng's body, it entered the core and the internal world. The not-too-distant primal chaos city leader and his subordinates all felt nothing at all. One had to know, this was a space protected by the Thousand Treasure River, a space controlled by the primal chaos city leader. However, within this space, the city leader couldn't feel that energy at all. That mysterious and unbelievable energy. As it modified Luo Feng's core, it permeated the internal world and enveloped the ocean body. The Serene Sea clone was completely enveloped by this mysterious power. Where am I? I just now, right? My ocean body had just been trained to a perfect limit. Even its size had expanded to over 90,000 kilometers after that my consciousness arrived here. Luo Feng was a little lost as he looked at his surroundings. This was a space filled with countless specks of light. Every speck of light seemed to contain unbelievable power. Luo Feng even had a feeling that every speck of light was more terrifying than the Sky Wolf leader. P.S. Chapter 4 has arrived. Tomato continues writing the 5th chapter. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1025. The universe was mysterious and unfathomable. Luo Feng realized that the place he had arrived at was probably one of the most mysterious places in the universe, or rather, the most mysterious place. Universe Lord, That's already the pinnacle of beings in the universe. To be able to bring my consciousness here in my primal chaos city teacher's territory without anyone noticing, this ability, I'm afraid only the universe itself can do it. Luo Feng looked around. The lights floated about. However, they all avoided him. These lights have a faint pressure. It's even more terrifying than the Skywolf leader. Just what are they? Luo Feng was extremely curious. Suddenly, one of the lights suddenly became a beam of light and swiftly shot towards Luo Feng's consciousness. Its speed far exceeded light speed, almost as though here, light speed wasn't the limit anymore. Luo Feng's consciousness only had the thought of escaping before the light touched his consciousness. Rumble, scene after scene, swiftly entered Luo Feng's consciousness. Luo Feng's consciousness seemed to see the birth of the universe, the birth of countless life forms, and the destruction of the universe. Many scenes, Luo Feng soon forgot about them after seeing them, as though he couldn't remember them at all. Following which, endless information entered his consciousness. Luo Feng's consciousness was immediately kicked out of this space. Universe Human Territory, Primal Region, Thousand Treasure River Region. The Primal Chaos City leader didn't notice any of this at all. Even though he could control space and time, this space and time was the universe itself. If the universe wanted to punish a universe lord, it could completely take away his control of space and time. The operation of the universe laws naturally escaped his senses within the many palaces within Luo Feng's palace. The earth body that was sitting crossed-legged opened his eyes. There was a sense of loss within, followed by shock. Within the internal world, the Bug Clan Queen and the Bug Clan warriors all regained their consciousness. However, they didn't even realize that time and space had stopped earlier. Only Luo Feng's consciousness knew about it. Other than my consciousness, my body, no changes my earth body, golden horn beast, Masha clansman, ocean body, they all haven't changed. Luo Feng swiftly checked. The ocean body was still 90,000 kilometers tall, just over 10,000 times his life genetic level. No, there's a change. Luo Feng quickly felt the core within the world ring. It had already become a blurry, chaotic color. Looking at it, it was almost like endless space and time was revolving. What happened to my core? Luo Feng was extremely shocked. He didn't understand at all, because he had never heard of this before. My consciousness has been given a piece of information, and the information contains a heaven-defying talent secret technique. My most important origin core has also undergone a transformation. All of this happened after my Serene Ocean clone reached the limit of perfection. The Serene Ocean clone's current life level is just over 10,000, and it should be less than 10,100. Could be 10,081? Luo Feng couldn't help but think of this number. This number should be a very mysterious number in the universe. A perfect life form's genes are 10,081 times that of a normal life form. Luo Feng guessed. I don't want to. Luo Feng shook his head, carefully feeling the core. My consciousness has been taught a heavenly talent. I believe the core's transformation should have its benefits too. Innate secret technique. Luo Feng carefully recalled the information he had just received in his consciousness. Before, when his consciousness was drawn into that space and received the information, he had completely forgotten about the evolution of the universe. He only remembered the method to unleash the innate technique. Luo Feng didn't know anything about it. He didn't know how this technique was created, even though it was incomparably complicated to unleash. The process of unleashing it was like a knife, imprinted in his consciousness. Innate technique, to be able to give me a natural technique out of nowhere, it should be a gift from the universe. Luo Feng guessed. Don't tell me this is a gift for my perfect life form genes? Innate techniques usually had origin laws imprinted on the skin or on the life crystal, etc. However, this time Luo Feng was bestowed with a technique. It was directly imprinted in his consciousness. Innate technique. I am a universe. Its power was extremely strong. The moment it was unleashed, one's divine energy would ignite, the divine body would instantly become a miniature universe, trapping the enemy within, using the miniature universe to restrict the enemy, weakening the enemy's power. Within the miniature universe, one's own power would naturally explode, the enemy's power would greatly weaken. Even if one were to self-destruct, it would be like the universe exploding, directly destroying the enemy. This heaven-defying innate technique had an extremely high requirement for divine energy. According to the detailed information, to unleash the innate technique, I am the universe, the lowest requirement was for the ocean clone to have reached perfection in his life-form genes, becoming an undying before he could unleash it. Undying ocean clone, his body amplitude had to reach 30 times, and he had to ignite his body. This was the lowest energy requirement to unleash I am the universe. I am the universe. Every time it was unleashed, it had to last at least 9 seconds. Unleashing the lowest energy requirement, the shortest time, with the ocean clone's 90,000 kilometers god body, he could only unleash it 10 times, after which his god body would completely burn up. Too ridiculous, too heaven-defying. However, I like it. Luo Feng's eyes were burning. The undying level ocean clone, that was even stronger than the Bug Emperor. The god body amplitude needed to exceed 30 times, and he ignited his divine energy. This state, even in a normal battle, Luo Feng could suppress many universe knights, much less one move that used up 1/10 of his 90,000 kilometers god body. Such a huge amount of god body energy was instantly used up, unleashing I am the universe. Just how strong was this move? Before actually unleashing it, Luo Feng couldn't even imagine. Anyway, it's a very heaven-defying move. Luo Feng thought. The undying ocean clone is even stronger than many universe knights' god bodies. Many of them are a few meters tall, tens of meters tall, which means even if most of them ignite their god bodies, they wouldn't be able to withstand this move. Only those with huge bodies can unleash this move. How strong was it? Unimaginable. And the mysteries of the natural ability, I am the universe, Luo Feng didn't even understand a bit. It was like a heavenly book. Luckily, the method to unleash it was carved deep into his consciousness. What do I do? What do I do? Luo Feng was troubled. If I choose to let the ocean clone transform into an ocean, the ocean will constantly grow. Then the new ocean clone, whether its size or its life genetic level, will be greatly reduced. Luo Feng thought. That way, after I reach undying, I won't be able to unleash I am the universe. The golden horn beast, after reaching undying, its life genetic level can rise again, reaching close to 10,000 times. However, it's only 1,000 kilometers long. It won't be able to withstand this move. Luo Feng was anxious. The golden horn beast's huge body. Before the I am a universe natural ability, it was still not enough. Unless the golden horn beast can reach perfect life genetic level, then its body will grow again. Luo Feng thought. Otherwise, I can only let the enemy enter the endless dark ocean, allowing it to unleash this move. However, the moment the ocean clone transforms into the endless dark ocean won't be able to move on its own. It can only stay in one place. What do I do? Luo Feng was faced with a choice. Should the ocean clone transform into an ocean? If it did, then Luo Feng's battle strength would weaken. Unless he returned to the endless dark ocean, only then would his strength explode. If he roamed outside, his strength would be weak, unless the golden horn beast also reached the limit of perfect genes and grew in size, that might be able to unleash the natural ability I am the universe. If it didn't transform into an ocean, its battle strength would be shocking. A 90,000 kilometers tall ocean clone would be able to rampage. However, its god energy would be depleted very quickly. Replenishing it would be very troublesome. Luo Feng thought hard for a few minutes. I chose this avatar for the sake of an undying body. Even though it doesn't transform into an ocean, its battle strength is heavenly. However, no matter how heavenly it is, even a natural beast god will fall one day. Luo Feng said, as long as it can live, then anything is possible. The golden horn beast will also become very strong in the future. Even when I'm undying, I can't unleash I am the universe. When I become a knight of the universe, then won't I be able to unleash it? Luo Feng said. There's no need to rush. What's more, at the undying level, the endless dark ocean can still unleash this move. Luo Feng made his decision. The ocean clone was 90,000 kilometers tall, standing in mid-air. Ocean clone. The ocean clone roared softly. This was the last time he would appear as the ocean clone. From now on, it would be the endless dark ocean. Even if he went out to battle, it would just be a clone. Its strength would obviously be much weaker. Rumble, the 90,000 kilometers tall ocean clone, immediately melted. In mid-air, a blood wave appeared. This was a blood ocean with a diameter of close to 1 million kilometers. Natural talent. Creation. A 9,000 kilometers tall ocean clone with a life genetic level 1,000 times appeared. Hua hua hua, endless world energy surged into the blood ocean, causing it to swiftly recover. After recovering, the clone merged with the blood ocean, causing it to expand once more. The expansion of the blood ocean was simply too ferocious. Luo Feng had dug out all the universe crystals under his subordinates, yet it wasn't enough to absorb the blood ocean. After all, the gods didn't carry much universe crystals. Universe crystals were very cheap. After all, the universe crystals that could create a super huge world ring were only worth 1 or 2 mixed elements. Fine. Universe crystals, give me 1 million mixed elements first. 1 million mixed elements to buy universe crystals? Lord Luo Feng, are you sure you want to buy universe crystals? Right? Hurry and send it over. Yes, Lord Luo Feng, 1 million mixed elements of resources within the free quota will arrive very quickly. Luo Feng madly bought universe crystals and threw them into his internal world, causing the blood ocean to expand again and again with this endless supply. The blood ocean size continued to grow, very quickly exceeding the 80 million kilometers limit. 90 million km, 95 million kilometers, it continued to expand. However, the internal world felt that it was too small. P.S. 5 chapters complete. Simultaneously, I've also pulled down my monthly votes. If you're satisfied, please vote to support me. Also, let me tell you in advance, tomorrow's tomato update will be at night, early notice. It's not considered late. Don't forget to vote, asterisk asterisk, to be continued. If you like this work, please come to Chidian. Come to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1026. Rumble, Hua. Waves raged, blood waves filled the skies. Luo Feng's entire internal world had become a blood ocean world. The original land had all disappeared, becoming world energy and being swallowed. Looking at the entire internal world, all that was left was the center of the endless blood ocean, with a diameter of 1 million kilometers. The center of the land was the two-world abyss. This abyss was where the golden horned beast digested everything after using its swallowing ability. At the center of the abyss was a golden horn world stone. Other than this island, the entire 100 million kilometers diameter internal world had become an endless blood ocean. Rumble, the waves of blood parted, and an enormous figure stepped out from within. It wore a beautiful black armor with blood-red edges. It was the Serene Sea clone that had been formed through creation. It was over 9,000 kilometers tall, and its genetic life level was 1,000 times that of the Serene Sea clone. This is going to be troublesome. The blood waves were like a fountain. The Yuhai clone stood at the peak. Wherever his gaze landed, the internal world was seen through. The internal world has already been completely covered, except for the two-world abyss. The Yuhai clone said softly, "However, my blood ocean obviously hasn't expanded to its limit. And if the internal world were to expand any further, I'm afraid the core wouldn't be able to handle it." Not right. My core seems to have undergone a transformation. A large part of Luo Feng's consciousness swiftly left the ocean clone and returned to his core, carefully sensing it. Indeed, The core that had gone through the strange changes was hazy and chaotic. It didn't feel any strain at all from carrying the internal world that was close to 100 million kilometers in diameter. It was very easy. The larger the internal world, the greater the pressure on the core. Relying on swallowing metal to expand the internal world was using the gold energy to constantly strengthen the core, causing it to become extremely strong. That way, one could have a huge internal world. My core feels relaxed. Could it be that the internal world can still expand? Luo Feng pondered. I'll give it a try. Internal world. Above the endless blood ocean, piles of universe crystal mountains appeared out of nowhere. One of them immediately melted. Large amounts of world energy dispersed and began to infuse into the internal world. During this period of time, it had always been the blood ocean absorbing the energy. The internal world, on the other hand, was absorbing the continents, rivers, etc., into the world energy. This endless world energy was freely absorbed by the internal world, causing it to be like a hungry child, desperately swallowing. Rumble, rumble, the land and sky shook. It kept growing bigger and bigger. It's getting bigger. It's really getting bigger. At the peak of the Blood Sea's waves, the Blood Sea clone let out a thunderous laughter that shook the heavens and the earth. The inner world can really grow bigger. Very good. However, the best way to expand the inner world isn't by using universe crystals, but by using metals. Devouring metal to expand the inner world. Firstly, a part of the purest metal essence that the inner world couldn't absorb would gather on the Goldhorn World Stone. Secondly, the metal essence would also transform the origin core, making the origin core stronger. Naturally, it would be able to contain a larger inner world. Purchase metal alloy remains. The four peak races would engage in a war almost every 1,000 eras, and every war would result in a huge amount of metal and alloy remains. These alloy remains could be used again if they were refined, but the price of refining them was extremely high, so the value of these remains was very low. But no matter what, they were still very valuable. If it was an E-grade alloy wreckage, even if the value was low, it was still E-grade. If the quantity was especially large, the price would still be terrifying. Let's start with 100 million mixed elements. Lord Luo Feng, the items you need are below your free quota. It's free. 100 million mixed elements. Even if it was a perfect E-grade universe ship, gathered together, it would be enough to cover the sky and earth. What's more, it was just buying these old alloy remains. It was even more worth it than using universe crystals to expand the inner world. What's more, Luo Feng's usage was free. How? The Golden Horn Beast entered a world ring. This was an extremely large world ring with a diameter of 100 million kilometers. Within it was an endless amount of remains. The Golden Horn Beast first used deities of the world to expand its body. After that, it opened its mouth and unleashed its natural ability Devour, this 10,000 kilometers long body. After opening its mouth that was as big as an ocean, unleashed Devour. This distorted space immediately enveloped the surrounding 100,000 kilometers area. Hoo-hoo! Countless metal remains madly rushed in and were devoured. It was like a bottomless pit, constantly being devoured. And within the inner world, countless metals were swiftly digested by the two-world abyss. Countless golden mist emanated and was absorbed by the inner world. The inner world began to madly expand. While swallowing the large amount of metals, the very weak threads of gold essence that the inner world couldn't absorb from the countless metals were continuously absorbed by the Golden Horn World Stone. The weird thing was, as the inner world expanded, the core didn't change at all. Almost as though swallowing metals didn't benefit the core at all. Weird. Back when I swallowed metals to expand the inner world, the core was constantly evolving until it reached Sector Lord Level 9. Is it full? Luo Feng couldn't help but think. When the core ocean body reached 10,081 times life form, training the 9-level manual was useless. Could the core be the same? Reaching such a high level that swallowing metals had no effect? Whatever. I'll just swallow metals then. Even though it's a little tiring for the Golden Horn Beast, At least it strengthened my Golden Horn World Stone. Luo Feng thought. In history, the Golden Horn beasts were usually more powerful. Their internal worlds were only 100 million kilometers in diameter. That Golden Horn World Stone, with its essence, was already a precious material that even the knights of the universe loved. And my Golden Horn World Stone? Luo Feng didn't know if there were other Golden Horn beasts that had the same fortune as him. To have a life form genetic level of 10,081 times. This had already exceeded the majority of unique life forms. Luo Feng wasn't sure if he was the only one. However, just looking at the 9-level manual strength, Luo Feng deduced that even if there were other Golden Horn beasts that were as strong as him, they would still have to be nurtured by the strongest warriors of the universe. Swallow metals. I want to see just how strong my Golden Horn World Stone can become. Luo Feng's demand for the amount of alloy remains shocked the upper echelon of the trash starfield. They were buying world rings filled to the brim. This rate of consumption was something they rarely saw. Not enough. Still not enough. My internal world has already expanded to a diameter of 10 million kilometers. It's still not at its limit? Luo Feng was completely shocked. He didn't expect the internal world to actually grow to such a level. Send me the alloy remains. Luo Feng didn't reject anything. The bigger the internal world, the more stable and powerful the God country I form in the future. Luo Feng was filled with anticipation. Just how far can my internal world expand? Under normal circumstances, a world ring with a diameter of 100 million kilometers would only consume a few mixed elements. The reason it was so cheap was because the sector lords could resonate with the universe energy, drawing upon the endless universe energy to form universe crystals. Because it was too easy and the quantity was huge, the price was cheap. A world with a diameter of 10 million kilometers would consume 1 million mixed elements. For a world with a diameter of 1 trillion kilometers, the universe crystal consumption would be 1 trillion mixed elements. And as Luo Feng was using alloy remains, hence the cost was even lower. However, he still used a total of tens of billions of mixed elements, and the tens of billions of mixed elements were still within the free limit. Actually, Luo Feng himself didn't care about this bit of money. He could just casually sell any treasure, and that would be 10 trillion mixed elements. This process of swallowing and expanding the internal world continued for a full 3 months. In these 3 months, the Golden Horn Beast only rested for an hour every day, and this was split into 6 breaks. Each break was only 10 minutes. The rest of the time was spent crazily using the swallowing ability. The endless alloy remains were constantly being swallowed like a black hole. 1 trillion kilometers in diameter. Finally, I reached my limit. Peak of the blood wave. The Masha clansmen, the Golden Horn Beast, and the Ocean clansmen looked around, all dumbfounded. It was too ridiculous. It was simply too ridiculous. A Golden Horn Beast's internal world was usually 100 million kilometers in diameter, but now it was 1 trillion km in diameter. Just what happened to my core? It's actually able to hold such a huge internal world. Luo Feng was shocked too. He understood too. That time when his consciousness acquired the heaven-defying talent, I am the universe, his core had also undergone a terrifying evolution. This is the Golden Horn World Stone. The Masha clansmen, Golden Horn Beast, and Serene Ocean all flew above the two-world abyss, looking down. Beams of gold light shot out from the depths of the two-world abyss. The space rippled. Even though the Golden Horn World Stone was hidden within the abyss, it still naturally emitted a blurry gold light. In order to form the inner world with a diameter of 1 trillion kilometers, the length, width, and height were all around 1 trillion kilometers. The amount of metal debris consumed was unimaginable. The strands of metal elemental essences that were extracted from the Goldhorn Boundary Stone kept gathering, causing special changes to happen to it. This Golden Horn World Stone of mine, I'm afraid it's the strongest of all the Golden Horn beasts in the history of the universe. Luo Feng thought. I'm afraid it's the only one that's this strong. the chances of there being a second one is extremely low. Normally, the Golden Horn World Stone is a precious material used by the Knights of the Universe. This one of mine that 1,000,000,000 times stronger, I'm afraid it's one of a kind. I wonder how valuable it is. Luo Feng had a feeling that the value of this stone would be extraordinary. However, due to his limited experience, he couldn't tell. The internal world has reached its limit. The Golden Horn World Stone has reached its limit too. Haha, an extremely huge internal world with a diameter of 1,000,000,000,000 kilometers, Blood Sea. Let me see how far you can expand. Luo Feng finally began to madly expand. Large amounts of universe crystals, mountain by mountain, were sent into the internal world, allowing the Blood Sea to expand as much as it wanted. P.S. First chapter has arrived. To be continued. If you like this work, please come to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 10:27. Universe crystal mountains were sent into the internal world, causing the Blood Sea to expand extremely quickly. Just like the recovery of the God body, every bit of God energy contained a life imprint, soul imprint. Losing a large amount of God energy was equivalent to losing a part of the soul. This was the most difficult reason for recovery. Sector Lord level Blood Sea recovery and expansion was very easy, as long as there was enough energy. A month later, the Blood Sea has finally expanded to its limit. This Blood Sea size is within my expectations. The huge Blood Sea clones stood at the top of the waves, gazing at the endless Blood Sea. Within the Blood Sea, the waves rumbled and the stench of blood permeated the air. This made the Blood Sea clone smile even wider, his voice like thunder. Its diameter is 10 billion kilometers, bigger than the 108 Emperor Sea's Blood Sea and Mini Emperor Sea. It's already close to the Grand Emperor Sea. Life genetic level 10,081 times and 300 times. The difference is indeed huge. The Sector Lord Prince's Blood Sea's diameter was only 80 million kilometers. The Undying Prince's Emperor Sea was 960 million kilometers. The Knight's, however, was 32 to 101 billion kilometers. Because of the huge difference in life level. That's why Luo Feng's Blood Sea was so huge. The Blood Sea has been formed. My 10,000-star Taoist diagram's third form is about to reach the pinnacle level. Right now, as long as I fully comprehend the gold laws, I can break through the shackles of the core and connect to the origin law ocean, changing it with God energy, allowing me to step into the undying level. Within the palace's side hall, Luo Feng had specially ordered the servants to prepare a sumptuous banquet, sharing it with Sky Formation Emperor, Extreme Rainbow Emperor, and the other servants. After this banquet, I'll concentrate on the gold laws and comprehend it in one go, entering the path of undying. Luo Feng laughed loudly. Master's comprehension of the origin laws is very high, already reaching the pinnacle of undying. On that purple thorn island filled with geniuses and inheritors, Master can still consecutively battle over 620,000 battles. His win rate is extremely high. Obviously, compared to the other Emperor Undyings, Master is extremely strong. With such ability, breaking through to Undying will definitely be easy. Heart-refining Emperor was the first to speak. If Master can't, who can? Sky Formation Emperor said too. We wish Master success in one go, stepping into Undying. Many of his servants raised their cups. Good. Luo Feng, too, raised his cup. Success in one go, stepping into Undying. Luo Feng raised his head and drank it clean. Some life forms found it extremely difficult to break through to the immortal realm. For example, the Bug Clan's Queen Mother and the Cloud Contact Vine, which had 360 main vines. Many of them could only break through after their comprehension of the laws could rival titled monarchs. Like the Golden Horn Beast, due to the shackles of its core, its origin law comprehension required a higher level to break through, as for Luo Feng. Even though the core's transformation was heaven-defying, breaking it from the inside was much easier than breaking it from the outside. If it was an attack from the outside, Luo Feng's origin orb would fuse with the core and automatically defend. However, if he broke it from the inside, he would first use the origin orb to attack the core. And in terms of intent, Luo Feng wanted to break it. Based on the conditions alone, his comprehension of the laws had reached the limit of the undying realm. The beast god realm was almost at the 21st level of the sky-crossing bridge. His willpower surpassed the majority of the universe's venerables. The amplitude of his telekinesis was 32 times. Many as one. Heaven-defying will. Beast god concept. Telekinesis amplitude. Self-created unique skill. My preparations can be compared to the invincible king realm experts. Entering the immortal realm, of course, it'll be easy. Luo Feng, too, was filled with anticipation. In terms of creating his own absolute arts, he might be weaker than an emperor invincible. However, his willpower and beast god conception, they all surpassed an emperor invincible. If I don't break it, there's no justice. Right now, I'll concentrate on studying the gold laws and comprehend the entire gold laws. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. A long time ago, Luo Feng had stopped studying the gold laws. He didn't dare, as he was just a bit away from comprehending the entire gold laws. The moment he comprehended the gold laws, breaking through to the undying realm would be an irreversible process. If he couldn't complete the third body, why would Luo Feng break through? Gold laws. Luo Feng sat crossed-legged within the palace. Sky Formation Emperor and Extreme Rainbow Emperor waited behind him. Half of his consciousness was studying the gold laws. The other half was creating the third form of the 10,000-star Tao presentation diagram, constantly perfecting it. Right now, Luo Feng's comprehension of the laws was almost at the level of a universe knight. Studying the gold laws again, it was like a university student studying a primary school class. However, it wasn't easy for a university student to get full marks in a primary school class. He still had to carefully study it. Thousand Treasure River region, within the most majestic palace. It's been over 1,500 years since he returned from the 9 levels. In these 1,500 years, Luo Feng has been creating his third form, and it's already reached the pinnacle level. Why hasn't he broken through to the undying realm? The primal Chaos City leader stood at the top of the majestic palace, leaning on the railing and gazing. His gaze could cover everything within Thousand Treasure River region. Naturally, he could see Luo Feng's palace. Is he studying the gold laws? Even though the last step of the laws is hard to break through. However, his comprehension of the laws is extremely high. He should be able to comprehend it within a few hundred years. The primal Chaos City leader was even more suspicious. This disciple of his body had already been formed, and his origin law comprehension had reached the pinnacle of the undying realm. What was he still delaying for? Luo Feng sat crossed-legged within the palace, studying the gold laws for over 300 years. Gold! This is gold! Luo Feng opened his eyes and revealed a smile. A sense of satisfaction filled his heart. This was the satisfaction of comprehending a path of the universe. Rumble. A formless connection immediately connected Luo Feng to the Gold Law Ocean of the universe origin grounds. Within the Gold Law Ocean, the endless energy was transmitted over. Everything was irreversible. The core within Luo Feng's body. The core was originally an origin orb. However, after it absorbed the energy from the Gold Law Ocean, it immediately transformed and became a human. Luo Feng's appearance. Origin laws formed, breaking the core, God energy infused, soul and body fused into undying. Luo Feng thought within. This was the basic process of stepping into the undying realm. Within the core, it formed its own space. After the origin orb became Luo Feng, he waved his hand, and immediately the energy became crystal balls that floated about. A total of 1,600 crystal balls. Every one of them had complicated origin law engravings. Whether it was a fighter or a spirit reader, when breaking through to the undying realm, they all relied on the origin orb to break through. As for the weapons, or spirit weapons used after the origin orb was formed, they were all formed from energy. How? 1. 600 crystal balls, almost like bone pearls, countless origin law threads intertwined, forming the entire skeleton of the beast god. The scales were almost real. An incomparably real beast god was formed. Beast god conception, spirit energy amplitude, all consciousness and willpower. Break through the shackles. Become undying. Break, break, break. All of Luo Feng's bodies were in deep slumber. All of his consciousness and willpower were in full force. And under the universe gold origin law energy, it allowed Luo Feng to unleash his full potential. Within the core, the beast god let out a soundless roar, after which it brought with it a frenzied and intense aura as it rushed towards the core. At this time, the beast god seemed to be burning with flames. Like a burning star, it madly smashed into the inner walls of the core. Rumble. 10,000 star diagrams, third form. Star fire piercing the sky. This was the golden horned beast's entire body strength being supported by its skeleton. All of the attack force was channeled through its skeleton and then smashed into it with its head. This was the most intense attack. In terms of speed, it couldn't compare to the first and second forms. However, in terms of power, tyranny, and power, it was much stronger. Rumble. The inner walls of the core shook violently from the attack. Crack, crack, crack. The inner walls of the core began to crack. Who? The misty color of the inner walls of the core, that misty color spread and covered the cracks. In an instant, the cracks all disappeared and returned to its original state. The entire core was unharmed. After guiding Luo Feng to unleash his strongest attack, the energy of the universe origin grounds began to recede. How can this be? Luo Feng's consciousness roared. Break for me, rumble. The golden horned beast was like a ball of fire, surrounded by energy. It once again smashed into the inner walls of the core. Bang, 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 bang. Time after time of smashing. Every time it caused the inner walls to crack. However, the core would automatically repair itself without any damage. Pong! After more than 10 collisions, the beast god finally collapsed completely. The crystal orb also shattered. The human form of the origin orb, Luo Feng, stood in the dark and lonely space, his face filled with disbelief. How can this be? How can I not become undying? Luo Feng, the strength of my willpower has already surpassed most of the knights of the universe. Beast god conception, spirit energy amplitude, my own creation. I'm not lacking in any of these, especially my willpower and beast god conception. They're even more heavenly. I actually can't break through the shackles of the core. How can this be? Luo Feng couldn't accept this. He really couldn't accept it. In his heart, stepping into the undying level should be as easy as drinking water. After all, willpower, beast god conception, spirit energy amplitude, self-created pinnacle techniques, these were all aspects that were comparable to an emperor-level invincible. A sector lord that was comparable to an emperor-level invincible in all aspects actually couldn't step into the undying level. How could such a thing happen? Even if he had miraculous encounters, breaking through the shackles of the core was hard. He was already at an extremely high level in all aspects. He could already be said to be at the pinnacle of many aspects under the universe night. Even this couldn't do it. One sip, one peck. One sip, one peck. Fortune and misfortune go hand in hand. Fortune and misfortune go hand in hand. Within the empty space within the core, the human form of the origin orb Luo Feng sat cross-legged, shaking his head as he said softly. He had acquired the 9 secret manual. The ocean clone had also reached the limit of life and genetics, and was even bestowed with a natural technique by the universe. The core was also extremely strong, allowing the internal world to expand to 1 trillion kilometers in diameter. The blood C2 reached 10 billion kilometers in diameter. Everything was so wonderful. However, while Luo Feng was excited about the core's strength, the core's ability to withstand the huge world. He didn't expect himself to be unable to break through the shackles of the core. Stepping into the undying level. Then how do I do it? Luo Feng said softly, after which he mocked himself. Before this, I've never doubted that I could easily break through. I didn't expect, even after reaching such a level, I still can't break through the shackles of the core. P.S. 2 chapters completed. With regards to tomorrow's update, Tomato had to leave early tomorrow morning. He would be very busy during the day. Hence, tomorrow's 2 chapters would still only be updated at night. I'll be much better after I'm done. Please forgive me. Monday, please give me recommendation votes. Everyone has free recommendation votes. Asterisk, to be continued. If you like this work, please come Chidian. Come to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 10:28. Thousand Treasure River, Luo Feng's Palace. When Luo Feng opened his eyes, Sky Formation Emperor and Extreme Rainbow Emperor who had been waiting beside shouted, "Master! Is Master about to break through to Undying?" Sky Formation Emperor said, "Both of you leave first." Luo Feng waved his hand. Yes. Sky Formation Emperor and Extreme Rainbow Emperor were suspicious. They didn't expect Luo Feng to fail to break through to Undying. From their point of view, if Luo Feng couldn't even break through, that would be the biggest joke since the birth of the universe. Within the Silent Palace, Luo Feng followed the stairs of the side palace and walked up step by step until he reached the highest level of the palace. Leaning on the railing, he looked at the endless Thousand Treasure River. Ever since I left the headquarters city to explore the wilderness back then on Earth, I've never given up. Luo Feng's gaze was like a blade. Core shackles? Even if the core is that powerful, it can't stop my path to Undying. Breaking through the shackles, all external treasures are useless. Relying on origin law comprehension, techniques, spirit energy amplifier, and willpower. Luo Feng thought. In terms of willpower, it's hard for me to raise it in a short period of time. I can only rely on time to slowly train my heart. And my spirit energy amplifier can't be raised for now. The beast god's conception and origin law comprehension are already at the pinnacle of the universe nights. The only thing that can allow me to greatly improve is techniques, Luo Feng thought. Amongst the countless inheritors of Purple Thorn Island, there are some whose techniques have reached the ultimate level. Like my teacher, True Yin Knight, after spending trillions of years, his techniques are close to the ultimate level. Luo Feng thought, if they can do it, I can too. True Yin Knight's conditions weren't as good as Luo Feng's. After all, he didn't have the guidance of the primal chaos city leader. I'll create an ultimate technique. My strength will rise by 10 times. I don't believe I can't pass it. Luo Feng pursed his lips, his gaze sharp. If I still can't pass, I'll think of ways to raise my spirit energy amplifier and train my willpower and beast god's conception. No matter what, I can only succeed. I can't fail. Luo Feng used strength in his right hand, gripping the railing so hard that it had imprints on it. Luo Feng turned and left. The railing gradually recovered. It was made of memory metal. Even though Luo Feng would occasionally spend time with his family and learn about the family's current situation while eating with them. But even when he was with his family, most of his consciousness was still focused on studying secret techniques. This time, Luo Feng didn't continue studying the blade technique, but instead focused on studying the 10,000-star Taoist diagram. 100 years, 200 years, 900 years, 1,000 years. Time flowed by like flowing water. After 3,000 years, within the virtual universe training grounds. Luo Feng stood at the peak of a ruin and pointed at the distant rock life form. There were 1,600 crystal balls covered in engravings. These 1,600 balls linked together and formed a beast god's tail. In mid-air, countless origin laws intertwined and formed a beast god. This beast deity's tail was extremely real, while the rest of its body was blurry. Roar! A furious roar rang out. In the blink of an eye, the beast god appeared in front of the rocky life form. Rumble! The rocky life form's entire body fiercely spewed out endless hot flames. However, what welcomed him was countless rain-like illusions. The beast god's movements were incomparably exquisite. If one were to say that the beast god's movement speed was shockingly fast, then its tail was over 100 times faster than its main body. That long tail left behind a series of afterimages, like countless strands of rain. These countless strands of rain filled the world, appearing everywhere. They seemed harmless, but the stone life form let out an enraged and terrified roar. The countless strands of starlight seeped into every inch of the stone life form. Pong! The rocky life form slightly shook, following which it was completely destroyed, striking the stars, starlight like silk covering the entire universe. The first form, finally completed, the distant Luo Feng nodded. Luo Feng. A golden-robed silhouette flew over from the distance. It was the primal chaos city leader. Teacher. Luo Feng bowed respectfully. These 3,000 years, you've been studying the first form of the 10,000-star Dao presentation diagram. Up until now, you've finally developed it to the ultimate level. The primal chaos city leader's eyes were filled with confusion. But why did you spend so much effort on studying it? The current you have long since broken through to the undying level. Disciple strength is still not enough. Luo Feng said respectfully. The primal chaos city leader shook his head and laughed. He felt that Luo Feng was too humble. You're not at all proud. The primal chaos city leader said, Speak, when do you want to break through to the undying level? I want to develop the first 3 forms to the ultimate level. Luo Feng said, The first 3 forms? The primal chaos city leader was shocked. Ultimate techniques were extremely difficult to create. Otherwise, with trillions of geniuses from the universe gathered on Circe Island, there wouldn't be so few who created ultimate techniques. The first form was created based on the first form of the beast god inheritance. It was still relatively simple. The second form was created based on the second form of the beast god inheritance. It was much more difficult. The third form was even more difficult. Luo Feng was now in a strategic position, with high vision and comprehension of the laws. Plus, with the guidance of the primal chaos city leader, he was able to create the first ultimate technique in 3,000 years. How long do you need? The primal chaos city leader asked. As long as I need. Luo Feng said respectfully. The primal chaos city leader was shocked. From his point of view, the trillions of races in the universe had long been famous. Just this reputation alone should be enough to affect Luo Feng and make him rush to break through to the undying level. All right, I'm not in a rush. At the Sector Lord level, the connection with the universe's source energy is much clearer. It's indeed suitable for you to create ultimate techniques. The primal chaos city leader said, However, even though I'm giving you pointers and setting up opponents for you, you'll quickly find out that you'll be helpless against them. As for how to break through, it's all up to you. I understand. Disciple is extremely grateful for your guidance. Luo Feng said respectfully. All right, do as you wish. The primal chaos city leader didn't try to persuade him anymore. As someone who rose from the earliest period of humanity, the primal chaos city leader had lived for far too long. His patience was extremely strong. Luo Feng focused on studying the second form. The second form was obviously much harder than the first. Luckily, in terms of origin law comprehension, Luo Feng was ahead by a lot. Hence, he was able to overcome the difficulties easily. This time, he spent a total of 8,000 years before finally reaching the final level of the second form. Yeah, the over 9,000 kilometers long winged flying creature let out a silent attack that pierced through Luo Feng's mind. Luo Feng's willpower was firm and unaffected. The 2,000th opponent. Today will be the day you fall. Luo Feng controlled the huge beast god in midair. The 5,200 crystal balls were still at the tail of the beast god. However, at this time, the entire beast god was incomparably clear. The huge beast god, under Luo Feng's control, reached a length of 3,000 kilometers. The avian's special life form had already transformed into a black stream of light. Wherever it passed, some of the stars and planets in the distance were directly annihilated by the black light alone. The beast god, however, floated in mid-air without moving. These two life forms were about to clash in mid-air. Kill! Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. He had already failed over 900 times against this 2,000th opponent. The beast god's tail, which was thousands of kilometers long, finally moved. In an instant, it turned into a dazzling rainbow light, like the last explosion of a dying star or the last ray of light of a falling meteor. This dazzling rainbow light was silent, as if it had teleported and instantly swept past the black light that was charging at it. The black light broke apart and was destroyed. Hua! At this time, a huge crack appeared in space. Simultaneously, a huge energy ripple spread in all directions. Rumble, the sounds continued. Bright like the sun and stars, the rainbow light is like a blade tearing through the night sky. Luo Feng said softly, second form, complete. The first form of the ultimate technique, myriad stars, Tao preaching diagram, took 3,000 years. Second form, 8,000 years. Following which Luo Feng began to study the third form. Actually, the reason why he could create the first two forms so quickly was because of the primal Chaos City leader's arrangement of opponents. Every opponent pointed out the weaknesses of his techniques. Secondly, Luo Feng was originally at the Beast God level 3. Creating the first two ultimate techniques wasn't too much of a pressure. Thirdly, he had to thank the Golden Horn Beast and the Masha clansman. The Masha clansman's comprehension of space, as a being that could completely fuse with space, its senses were indeed heavenly. The Golden Horn Beast had absorbed a lot of blood river crystals, hence it had a lot of inspiration from the Beast God statue. This was also a big reason. However, when Luo Feng created the third form, he really met with a problem. His comprehension of the origin laws was only that high. His beast god conception could barely be considered the 21st level of the heavenly bridge. To create the third form of the ultimate technique, it was simply too difficult. Luo Feng struggled to defeat opponent after opponent, constantly studying the third form, causing its power to constantly rise. He spent a total of 20,000 years. Luo Feng had only defeated the 1,520th opponent. One had to know that it got harder the further he went. Looking at this speed, it would take up to 1,000,000 years before he could succeed. Break! Break for me. Within the core, the human Luo Feng from the origin orb unleashed the second ultimate technique and the incomplete third form, repeatedly attacking the inner walls of the core. Rumble! The inner walls began to crack. The entire inner walls of the core had completely cracked apart. However, the blurry chaos energy flowed and the core remained undamaged. Since I haven't succeeded yet, am I really forced to spend 1,000,000 years to create the third ultimate technique? Luo Feng was indeed getting anxious. These 30,000 years, he had vanished without a trace, causing many other races and even humans to have their own opinions. Originally, many of them believed that the Blade River Emperor would swiftly become undying. However, there was no news at all. Back then, the peerless Blade River Emperor seemed to have completely vanished. I actually became so anxious. Luo Feng was shocked. Close to 30,000 years of training and the rumors from the outside world had indeed affected him. Since I haven't succeeded in training, why don't I take a walk in the universe? I've been born for tens of thousands of years, yet I've never truly observed the universe. I only know that I've been fighting and killing my way until now. Luo Feng suddenly had the thought of taking a walk in the universe. Since he had such a thought, naturally he would do it. Luo Feng, who had a high mental state, was very clear on when to do what. P.S. First chapter has arrived. To be continued. If you like this work, please come a Chidian. Come to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation.